Good morning or afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good evening, wherever you're at. How's everybody doing? Good to be here. Good to see you. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody went to church, prayed for all of our sins. We have a few of them. It's start of a new week, been a hell of a week. Heck of a week. Sorry, God. Dills. Watch the cussing. And yeah, it's just been, it's been a crazy week, and it's kind of good. Like I said, when this, I like coming on here and talking to the, I don't know, 50, 60 people that come on, and you guys are all appreciated. So we got Sweet Pea, Redding, Witchy, Crime and Justice, Witchy Woman. We're all shinners. Yvonne, how are you? Minnie, Donna, Denise, Carolina, Roberta, RR. Good to see you. Good to see all you guys. Yeah, what a night last night was. It was a lot of fun. We had a really good time. We did it was kind of a good Saturday night Smackdown, I guess. It was fun, and I ended up popping over on Ziggy's show for a little bit. That and there was a lot going on over there. There was been a lot going on over on her channel, and don't get me wrong, I like Ziggy a lot. Very nice, and with look, you got to take it everything with a grain of salt. I don't know these people. No offense to Jenna or the other lady. They seem like fine ladies. I have nothing bad to say about them. I don't know them. And I don't think, I'm not saying that, they're liars or anything like that. I would never, I have nothing to indicate that they are. However, you got to take what people say with a grain of salt. But I came on and I asked a very poignant question. I wanted to know if she had known if if Candace and Hunter were having an inappropriate relationship. And as I've always suspected, that she said that they had, and that seems to line up with what I've always thought. Don't worry, I got I got coffee. Um, yeah, and I had always kind of, like I said, I had always kind of thought, and I didn't know, but a long time ago, when I was on Ziggy's channel, she had talked about a CPS report talking about the inappropriate relationship there between Candace and Hunter. And look, it's nothing shocks me. Nothing shocks me, and it's not even like this case. It's just in life, It's just in life. It doesn't. None of that stuff surprises me anymore. None of it shocks me. It's despicable, and flat out inappropriate for a 15-year-old boy to be hanging out with a married woman or married or not, a family woman with kids while her husband's at work. That's just flat out inappropriate. Hunter's not related to her. And Candace is damn near 40 years old, and Hunter was at the time 15, 14, who knows how long. But it's inappropriate. And, the reason I think that was going on was I think, Hunter probably liked that she would buy them alcohol and weed and things like that. And the whole thing with Allie knowing about this inappropriate relationship doesn't surprise me either. And it's shocking to think that this is the kind of environment that was going on at the point where Summer went missing. And like I said, and I didn't mean this. I don't mean this in a very inappropriate, rude way. I don't mean to say it like this, but the problem is, it was just a matter. I'm not saying specifically Summer, but it was just a matter of time before one of those kids got hurt. And I bet you somebody had been hurt in that house before. And Summer was the casualty of the ridiculousness going on. Hi, Chasing Justice. How are you? And Summer was the victim and the sacrificial lamb, I guess. It's just, it breaks my heart to even think that the reason that all this was uncovered was because something happened to Summer. And it was an accident waiting to happen. Like Witchy Woman says, there's just no doubt it was an accident waiting to happen. That house was a death trap. And, the limits that Don and Candace would go to feed their drug and alcohol habit, would that constitute trafficking? And I don't know. I don't know if they were that hard up for cash. I don't know. You can be as hard up for cash as you want. I mean, trafficking a child is the lowest form of human behavior you can really, sink down to. It's really, really low. It's really disgusting. It's worse than being an animal, if you ask me. And yeah, severe neglect at best. At best, that's the best case scenario. And it's rough because when you look at these little kids and you say things like, well, they're not very good kids, or they're out of control, or they're this or they're that. Kids are taught that if the boys had behavior problems, it's because of their parents. Not saying that there are kids out there that have behavioral problems that aren't caused by their parents. This is not one of those cases. This is not one of those cases. The behavior that the boys were, they have to grow up so fast, and they become like they could become little men before they were ever really little children. And it's heartbreaking. And it's heartbreaking to see that. And so I believe one of the boys was 12 or something, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. And that's just a couple of years older than Hunter, who who Candace was having an inappropriate relationship with, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of other people. I don't have proof of that, but I did ask that lady last night, and she confirms to me that Candace had confided in her. Say what you want. Is anything proven? Is that 100%? No, I don't know the lady. The lady doesn't know me, and that's fine. But she seemed pretty confident about doubling down. I mean, if you were to ask somebody that question and you didn't know, I mean, the right response is no, I don't know. And let me do something here real quick. I'll bring it up.
Analysis is fact doesn't make.
See if I can find it here. Yeah, Ziggy went in for a 7-hour one last night, but I'll see if I can. I don't remember when I was even on, but she let me up. Like, she's very, very courteous. And okay, here we go. We'll play my little clip here. Ziggy, if you strike me, she would never. She would never. Well, she might. I don't know. She just said she didn't know how. So I'll bring it up here. And this was my little part on here. So let us take a looketh.
Facebook for being a blabbermouth to other psychics, causing drama and interfering between me and Don's convos. When I cut her off, she ran with that she had. She ran with what she had. This is a full convo about Don between me and Denise. Why am I doing this? Because one,
it's funny. Well, they thought that
I and the team,
before they let me up, they thought that I was going to go on a rampage against them for some reason. If anybody knows me,
it just shows you who it is. And
anybody knows me, that was never going to happen. I wasn't going to say anything wrong to these ladies. I don't know these ladies.
So, but we still don't know if that other lady's sissy. Huh?
But yeah, they were like, "Oh no."
Make me think. Okay, Cincy. Okay. There's some things that make me think it's her, and then like, but there's a lot that makes me not.
Yeah, and I don't think Ziggy's like being fooled.
I don't have
or
an
anything.
email from anybody.
I think that the only like I said, the only reason I'm playing this is because I came on the show, and that's it.
Who is Josh? Josh said he wants to come up.
Okay. Are you sure?
Is he gonna be bad mouthing me? Is he the one that comes? It's fun. I mean, he can say what he wants to say.
I can't see Josh.
All right, so she said, "Oh, is he going to be bad mouthing me?" Well, no, I'm not. But there are people that will. That's not my thing. I'm I have my own opinion about you. That's fine. I don't really have an opinion about
Josh
it.
Ever talking bad about no,
he's fine. He can come up. I'm good.
Well, thank you for your permission.
Doug and Josh want the link.
No, Doug wasn't. Doug wasn't coming up, but that would have been great if he would have.
I don't know, Josh.
Well, I hope Josh doesn't badmouth anybody because I really like him.
No,
I don't know who Josh is.
Oh, you know who Josh is.
Oh, he's the lab. He's
okay. I've watched his.
Doug would be probably the one that would badmouth if any. I don't think.
No, I mean
you're actually right about that, but Doug wouldn't do that either.
Hey, you can bring them up. It's fine.
I don't think,
No, Wonderlust. I slipped out of there. I did a
I
good
don't
job.
think so. Okay, so this link is for Doug and
Doug's the
uh,
best. It's funny, man.
Josh only, please.
If Doug would
right
have came
now.
in, Doug would have been like, I came in like a wrecking ball.
Just for now, okay.
Release
So
the
here's the link.
hounds. No, they didn't get me.
So are they not live right now? Is Doug not live?
Oh, Doug was live. Doug was live.
So how is he going to come up? He's live. So how would he come up?
I don't know.
not
Someone
live.
said Josh wanted to come up.
That's right.
Well, Josh, yeah, but I think Doug's live.
Oh,
Hey, thanks for
look
coming
at
up.
this. Hey, what's going on?
Hi.
What were you scared I was going to come on and be mean? Look at this. It's like we're in the nexus of the universe here. Hi, Josh. It's good to see you. Nice hair. Mean or something? I'm like,
I don't
No, I
know.
don't think he would. No.
what am I going to be mean about?
I don't know. I've had people call me drug dealer. Everything.
Well, you're exposing yourself to a lot of people.
I know.
That's just what's going to happen. You should see how many emails I get a day. Psychotic stuff. It's true.
Yeah.
People tell me how to act all the
It's
time.
not
We were
really
trying to get prayer gardens over to call her on her bullshit.
She won't come up.
No, of course she won't come up.
I think it's because you guys are making her show her face. If you don't make her show her face, she'll come up.
Well,
That's what she told me.
This is an interview with a vampire. You got to show your face.
But I mean,
And none of them are showing.
yeah, she got mad because she left. Well, actually, I can't say that she got mad, but I have a feeling she got mad because I started questioning her. Nobody start guessing which search company it is because I'm not going to tell you, but I was contacted by a search company who's trying to get a hold of Prayer Garden, and I'm not allowed to say.
You doing all right there, Josh?
Which one right now, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to say, but anyways, they're trying to get a hold of her.
It's my twin brother.
And she won't contact them. She, I don't know why, but she just emailed me and said she did, I
have a twin.
Call a number.
So this is my brother, Josh, on the other channel.
I sent that to the lady I'm speaking to from that
fix your hair, Josh. Fix your hair.
Company to see.
There you go,
I
buddy.
Look great. I'm waiting for a response back, but she would not call the numbers I gave her.
Yeah, he's Jason. I'm Josh.
She had to search. She searched online for the phone number, and even if she did that, it would have been forwarded to this one guy. So yeah. Anyways,
does Josh know why it's important for Sissy to contact these people?
Oh yeah, AB was the one that was dogging me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jenna, welcome to YouTube. You're gonna have to talk to people that dog you if you want to. It's just how it works. I mean, you're putting yourself out there pretty hard.
It's okay. I'm sorry.
Does Josh know about the odor?
No, I don't. No, I didn't. No.
She said that she was on the phone with Don when he was when one of the workers in the background was complaining about a really strong odor and said it smelled like death in there.
So somebody said that to her?
She was on the phone with Don when he was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the workers came in and was complaining how bad it smelled and said it smelled like death in there. And
Casey Anthony style.
And I don't know. She said that do you want to, Jenna and Lynn, do you know the story? Like,
no, I mean, I don't. I just know that if it was a odor in there of death, somebody would have already checked it out.
Yeah. So Lynn, have you heard this story at all?
Just the other night on your channel.
So do you remember specifics? Because I don't know any more specifics.
Just that the guy kept saying that it smelled like there was something dead in this house that they were working on.
And they were and the guy was wanting to search around or something, and I don't know, or something, and Dawn kind of distracted him, or supposedly, I don't know, but this search company is trying to get a hold of her, and there's something else too they wanted to ask her about, but I can't remember. It might have no, it wouldn't have had to do with the fair, the sighting at the fair, because but that was the main thing, I think, because they were trying to find.
It's hard to bust in on somebody's show and be like, let me talk. So, you know, they were getting to their point in a roundabout way.
Where this place was at. Now, Pergrin claims that she has contacted the TBI
No.
about this.
I don't think
and
so.
I really hope so. She
I
also,
honestly don't think she has.
I'm wondering because now we asked her, you know, did she share all these voice clips? Because she told everybody she was going to share some shocking voice clips and stuff because she was done with Don, and everybody's been waiting. She kind of ghosted there for a few days because she got mad because she was kind of accused to have having an inappropriate relationship with Don.
Sick.
And it upset her, so she kind of ghosted. And then she decided to come back, but she was supposed to show all this stuff, and she promised.
Inappropriate relationship. How you doing, Josh? You hanging in there, bud? Don't worry. Your time will come, buddy. It's Jason. Sorry. Brother Jason. Take care, you know? Just hang in there. Your turn's coming. It's coming. You're waiting patiently. You're doing good, bud.
Everybody. And she came on here and she played a voice clip or a clip that was of some kind of machinery.
Something like that.
It was really, I don't know. That was really silly. And then the other voice clip, many claim
Totally
it's not
possible.
actually a voice clip, that it's a clip from an interview.
And anyway,
that
for
was
the people
on-
for the people that are just getting here, I'm just playing the clip from last night that I was on and the question that I asked the lady. That's it.
You know, that it wasn't something that he said to her, that it was something from an interview done on like Shares or one of those places.
Welcome. Very good of you.
So I said, well, why don't you just start scrolling through your phone and just, you know, start at the top and just play his voice clips? And I gave her out even. I said, you know, did you, because it sounded like she was worried about what would come out in these voice clips.
What are you
or
doing
whatever.
there, Jason?
I said, you know, I thought, well,
Hey, Jason, what are you texting over there? What are you doing? What are you doing on your phone, brother Jason? Just
maybe
wait.
she
Are
did.
you just waiting for your time to shine? Is that it? You got some questions you want to ask? Doug's waiting. Got to get back to the other show. Circles, Ferris wheels, merry-go-rounds. Trying to get back to the show. Slingshot me into orbit. Interstellar.
Pretend to be in love with Dawn, because I've seen some voice or some screenshots of somebody who was doing this. People are telling me it was her, but I don't. She's used so many fake names that I can't prove it's her, you know, and she's denying it. And I said, well, were you just pretending to be in love with them to
Okay. All right.
get information?
Hang in there, buddy.
Because I said, I saw a screenshot where some lady was saying that. Was that you? And she denies. I was trying to get her out. But anyways, she left abruptly and said she couldn't talk because there was something going on in the background. I have no idea what she was talking about. But it was at the time when we brought up the search team. They were trying to get hold of her. And also when we were trying to listen to these recordings,
I was in
these voice recordings.
Was in the nexus of the universe.
She said she was going to play. You know, I don't understand why she couldn't just scroll. It's super easy. Just like Glitter Queen said, it's 2021.
Hang in there, okay?
You know, she was on her
Okay.
computer.
Right.
She wanted to say, "Oh, I don't have Messenger on my phone."
Yeah.
And
But
stuff.
she tried to say she was on somebody else's phone.
Yeah.
But what was she playing the other ones off of? That's what I was wondering.
I guess she recorded it. Like, I have no idea how she did that. She recorded it, and then they weren't anything of any substance.
No.
One was about.
I don't even know if I
Allie.
asked. Did I ask? I did ask a
Don
question.
saying something about Allie's daughter.
Sorry.
Youngest daughters, and
What is this here? What is this? What is this question here? So Jason is on Doug's show and Josh is over here. Yeah, I'm everywhere. Somebody said that they wanted to hear Ziggy. You're more than welcome to go hear Ziggy.
And it wasn't even any. I just wanted her to go through and play them all. I thought that would be interesting to hear, but I think she's afraid for some reason what would come out from them. And I don't know. That's what we have to think when you're being, kind of you.
Hey, Ziggy, really fast. All right, here we go. All right, Jason, busting in. Yeah. Can I ask Jenna a question? You just got to do it sometimes, guys.
Yeah, please.
Jenna, so you were friends after Summer went missing with Candace, right?
Yes, correct.
And so is that friendship just burned now? Like, is
It's gone.
Did she contact you?
She contacted me after that. I sent the screenshots to Ziggy. She told me not to tell nobody that grandma was back, and she sent me the screenshot. She sent me a message saying that I lied to her, that I'm not her friend, which my whole intentions from the beginning was to find Summer.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
And she, I'm friends with her on all of her Facebook accounts.
How many?
So she has like 3 or 4 of them.
That's weird.
So I messaged her.
Right here, if you can hear, I left the screen for a second because I was eating a little, like one of those little baby or miniature baby roos. Things are fire, absolute fire. You can hear me eating it. It's very rude, but I went off camera for it.
Her on another one, and she sent something back to me, said, "You told everybody about our conversations."
And I'm not seeing.
And she, I'm friends with her on all of her Facebook accounts.
How many?
So she has like 3 or 4 of them.
That's weird.
So I messaged her on another one, and she sent something back to me, said, "You told everybody about our conversations." So I just basically just went off.
Well, no, what I was doing was I was asking the question, and I just thought it was going to be like a while before it got back to me, so I just popped in a B Ruth real quick. Does she have new teeth?
Yeah, she has new teeth.
How did she get those?
She told me Dr. Phil paid for it. It was $10,000 to get paid done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they?
And then,
oops, go ahead, love.
So.
And Josh, I searched all day.
No, I didn't.
And I'm not seeing where Dr. Phil pays for teeth.
I mean, it's possible.
He pays for rehab and
like, what a jerk. And what a jerk they're eating on Ziggy's show.
And psych hospitals and things like that he's affiliated with.
Yeah.
But they only give you 1 meal a day.
Well, I know they give you cash, like walking around cash. I don't know how much it is, but they give them per diem when they travel out there. And false teeth cost a lot, but I doubt it would be $10,000.
Right.
Now, Hunter. So I'm curious about Hunter and Allie really fast. I just have a couple questions. Was that an inappropriate relationship in your opinion? Jason, we want to see you, buddy.
Yes, it was.
And was that confirmed to you?
It was by Candace.
Yeah. She told you.
Yes.
What'd she say, Jenna?
She said that, that they did have a relationship, but it wasn't like a boyfriend and girlfriend.
Hey, Ziggs. My question. All right. I'm just kidding.
They was just like,
hooking up?
Yeah.
What?
And did Allie know about that? I bet she did.
She did know about it.
I think this might be my second baby Ruth. That's why I had to wait a while. I was getting a little.
I asked you about this before. So they were actually messing around?
That's what she told me.
She admitted that to you?
Yeah.
It's going to be good to have new teeth for when you go to prison so you can chew on the corn.
Yes.
Because that's what I was told by that. You remember last month? I was told that they're investigating some kind of inappropriate. Wow.
Yeah. Remember we talked about that, Ziggy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the shocking info that came out in the info that the lady told me early last month, that there was some.
Well, the boys actually made a comment about that too.
Yes.
No. Wow.
Yes. And that's how they found out. That's how they know how CPS knows. That's why people are like, well, the CPS wouldn't be concerned about or wouldn't know anything about a relationship.
Shoot
Well,
that
if the
rug
boys
sick.
were mentioning it, they would.
Sick.
Yeah.
If they were doing anything inappropriate
Where
in
you
front
at,
of
In
them.
front
Jason?
of them, exactly.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not sure about.
That's just incredible. Like in a terrible way. Really, I won't take up too much of your time. I just want to come over
And my
ask a
keyboard's on
quick-
fire. It's just a nightmare. Look at that. So you got, I just shot down 2 little baby hitter Ruths real fast, and then my
Oh,
keyboard's on
boy,
fire.
ask all you want because
I'm not. And I heard I was backstage. He said, "Oh, is he gonna come up and do this? Is he gonna come up?" And do
No,
that?"
you're fine.
I'm not in the business of being a complete jerk. It takes a lot to get there, and I have nothing against anybody, either one of you on here. Or
No, Josh,
anybody.
I knew you would never. I thought maybe Doug would,
Definitely.
Yeah, Doug
don't
might
know,
come
you know,
over. Doug might come
He'd be my
over.
favorite.
No, not I.
especially with Prayer Garden. I was like, when I heard it, she was trying to go over people were saying that she's going on his panel. I was like, wow, good luck.
Well,
gonna be
yeah,
interesting.
but that's totally different because it's just a crock of shit, is what that is. So, and
Josh, if I can just say, I just want to thank you for your letter to Summer.
oh, thank you.
You
Oh,
did an amazing job.
I appreciate that. First of all, I had no idea that it would
That the letter, my letter to Summer was, I honestly, and I'm not much of a crier. It takes a while. I was not. I had to do something because it was really getting to me.
reach as many people as it did, and for that, I'm happy. The one thing that I was telling somebody the other day, my wish, and I don't have any grandiose expectations. I wish that Summer would be able to eventually.
It honestly did me
have
too.
Heard
It really
that.
did.
I mean, I don't feel that is going to happen, but at that time,
I was very happy we did that. It was very nice.
it was really heavy on my heart that she was.
Doug's the best. I love that guy.
It was just like when I wrote that letter to her, it was to her and to all the missing kids, and she represents all of them.
Yeah.
And all the abused children.
Yeah, I don't
Summer's
know.
life could not have been good up until the day that she disappeared. And I don't care what anybody says. It just wasn't a good situation for any of them. And so Summer's life was probably a lot of sadness and a lot of, being left out and being mistreated, just like the boys. And I always knew what that was like as a kid. And I just kind of felt what I just know that I would want people, if I was a missing child, like Summer has no idea, obviously, how many people are looking for her and how many people are thinking of her.
and it's sad.
Every day.
Hi,
And
Jackie.
and she just never got to understand that people really, like, there are truly safe places in this world that you can be and be taken care of. It's not all, whatever life she was experiencing wasn't good enough for her. And I hate the thought of that.
Yeah.
But like I said, Summer, to me, as she's touched all of our hearts, she represents all the missing children.
Exactly.
She represents every single one of them. And my heart breaks for her, but at the same time, I really do feel like Summer's a hero because she has exposed situations that needed exposing. And it's so unfortunate that she's the one that had to do it. And that's the reason that all these things are coming out is because, Don and Candace messed up big time, no matter what happened. Big
I
time.
know.
Absolutely.
And your sins do find you out. And that is a fact.
Oh
You
yes,
cannot
most
hide
definitely.
that forever. And
Josh probably
Don is
didn't.
a pile. He's a horrible human. I feel bad for Candace on a lot of levels. People will say, why did you do that? Well, because first of all, he's almost 20 years older than her. And he is a controlling, manipulative, angry, drunk who only values his own life.
Yeah.
And for some reason he has groomed Candace into a mirror image of him. Maybe she wasn't that way, but that's how Don is. Don was born this way. Don
Yeah.
is this way. He is a terrible, terrible human, no matter what he did with Summer.
Exactly.
It will
Absolutely.
never change the fact. And he loves to attack women in a major way.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to call a woman a whore, or the B word. He has no respect for anybody.
Nope.
So
Jenna, did you Josh probably didn't hear earlier what you had said about the boys?
Oh, about them not wanting to come back.
Thank
Man,
you.
y'all got me crying over here. I'm sorry.
I know.
The boys don't want to go back home.
why would they? They're wherever they're at, honestly. And you can say whatever you want about foster care or CPS or temporary housing. They're living in a castle with good food and nice,
Attention and-
clean bedding. So I don't even for 1 second, I don't think that why I didn't even want to say horror while I was on there, but I mean those are his words, not mine, and but I did feel odd about saying that, and then I hit it with the B word like a 6-year-old should. I got that though. It's true. Why would you want to go back to that shithole nightmare place? It's just Don and Candace don't even want to be there.
Right.
Exactly.
So why would your kids want to be? I mean, it's just it's sad. It's sickening. And Don always talks about, his oldest son who, he was having these little problems. And I heard the thing about him, drinking the 12-year-old and Don punch him in the face or something like that. And
Is Ziggy here?
he learned all that
Probably not.
from you, Don. He learned
Right.
all of that from you.
Oh yes.
You're a terrible, terrible human. I think his oldest son is a registered sex offender.
Yes.
He is.
So these are the kind of humans that he turns out, and thank God that these boys can have some normalcy moving forward and hopefully live a very productive life, because it's just insane the way that those kids were living. It just blows my mind. As somebody who grew up in I wasn't adopted, but my grandparents, well, they did adopt us, but and it wasn't like we lived in some beautiful house, and it wasn't a bad house, but I'll tell you, it was always clean, and there was always clean clothes and food. Being raised by grandparents isn't always easy, especially when you have such a big gap, in age, so you don't always see eye to eye. But I always felt safe, and I always felt secure, and that went a long way for me in my formative years. So
Security is number one, especially being a child. And
hey, Robert Johnson, why don't you go somewhere else? It's Saturday night. Don't you have friends? I mean, why don't you just seriously go and buy a horse, and ride it on up in the mountains where nobody can ever see you again. Sorry.
Prayer Garden emailed and she has a statement. She says, and then we're going to listen to a video because somebody sent me a video and it
Thank you,
sounds
love. I
exactly
read that
like-
post.
Huh?
I was thinking, Josh, I read that post what that guy said.
Oh, he's out of his mind. He's just a loser.
She said, Prayer Garden says, I could not take what you was calling an out because I refuse to lie to you or anyone else. Oh, she's saying that she said she could not take my out as far as her and
Channel again.
Into thin air.
Watch
Yeah,
this Houdini
that's
trick,
pretty
guys.
sus.
Watch.
You know, and then you have all of his lies and inconsistencies and his script and his jailhouse religion and his
Yes, he's very
deflection
scripted.
and, you know, but yet we have, the other side now that
Here
wants
comes
to
the
blame
Houdini.
it on Jody Sue and even her children. It's just ridiculous.
What are you doing, Jason? Yeah, it is. Jenna, thank you for letting me ask you questions. Lynn, thank you very much. I'm going to get
Thank
back
you.
over. Ziggy, thanks for letting me up.
Yeah, of course,
We should do a
anytime, of
panel
course.
again soon. We should get
Yeah.
me, you, Doug, and Emma. That would be fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure.
Jeez, be a great time. So
Thank
Thanks
thanks a
you.
lot.
Can you imagine how
I'll get
that'd
back
go
I
over.
love both of you guys. So thank you so
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you guys. Take care.
much. All right. Bye.
All right. So that's that. That was shout out Ziggy. It was cool, man. Thanks for having me on. So anyway, that's the inappropriateness of Candace that she's admitting to other people, but how those people, Don and Candace, obviously cheat on each other. What kind of a relationship must you be in for that to that, like they're in a survivalist survivalist state right now. They have to stick together for now. They can't turn on each other for now. And once the relationship becomes, as my grandpa would say, if I can't remember what my grandpa used to say. It was something about the water rising. If the creek don't something, I don't know, some old man horse shit saying, but I liked it. But what's going to happen is they're going to turn on each other eventually, and it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. So survival of the fittest. It's not survival of the fittest. It is it says the end of the saying is, "In the creek don't rise." If something, then the creek don't rise. That's all I know. Yeah. And by the way, the creek is rising here. We're getting hit with a cyclone bomb. It sucks. But so if they say when they get arrested and for whatever reason, I mean, these people aren't going to stick together anymore, and that's what they're doing right now. They're surviving. They're surviving. They're making it. They're God willing, and the creek don't rise. There you go. If God is willing, and the creek don't rise. Thank you. Sorry, Pop. Lord, God willing. I think he said Lord willing, but that it's the same thing. If the Lord willing and the creek don't rise. Exactly. Sorry, Grandpa. I remember it. I do now. I'll never forget it. And it wasn't an old man horseshit saying. I mean, he had a lot of weird sayings. They weren't like weird sayings, but they were sayings.
see. I can't wait till Don's arrested so I can control the behavioral panel. You know, I haven't even watched I watched a little bit on Doug's show of their analysis, and it seemed just it gets very politically correct. You know, there's a whole thing. Like, I have problems with those kind of shows because of the you know, if those guys are as good as they say they are, and I'm sure that they are good, they got to see what everybody else sees, right? You got to do your due diligence, and if they're not doing that, then you know, you got to. But I haven't watched it, so it's hard for me to say. I don't need them to tell me if Don and Candace are guilty of anything either. It's just not necessary. It's not necessary to know that. And yeah, radio gods, the kids may have already told. The kids may have already told. They could have a lot of evidence that we don't know. Ronnie Lawson is up for re-election. And again, it's going to get political. And basically what he'll say is, and this is what all sheriffs running for re-elections will say, when there's a big case in their town that hasn't been solved, what they'll say is, I need to be reelected because my number one goal is to find Summer. Now, hopefully that's true. Hopefully that's true. And I have no reason to think that it's not. But I know that they use these things politically, and that's where it becomes dangerous. And I hope Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has been a long doctor. Was it? Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has been around there a long time. And I'm telling you, you know, I hear people say, "Oh, they're Dr. Phil's guy. Dr. Phil's great. Dr. Phil's fantastic. She is a great show, but it's just it's you know, Dr. Phil's fine, yeah." And I know that he has people that work for him, but just because some people are experts, it doesn't mean that they can't be wrong. I mean, we'd solve every crime if that were the case. These people have certain insights and can gauge sometimes what people are kind of thinking and saying and how they're processing. But that's another thing with the behavioral panel. They're not necessarily telling you if he's guilty or not guilty. What they're telling you is his tells, his you know, oh, he's looking to the left, so he's processing this differently, or he could have been dishonest about that because his eyes were a little wider, or he leaned forward and stared right at me. So there might have been some deception there. He looked at the floor, his lips are dog dick red from alcohol or whatever. They're not telling you if he's guilty or not guilty. They're just telling you, they're reading his body language. They're reading weird. That's the stuff that they're trying. That's the stuff that they're telling you, and then they come up with a conclusion overall. But yeah, it's strange. I said dog dick red. That was inappropriate, but it's true. His you know, matter of fact, while we're here, you know, it's just Sunday fun day. Let's just take a little look ski, just a little peek ski. I am a little curious. Why does it say 3 months ago? Was it really 3 months ago? Could have been 3 months ago. Oh, here we go. Let's just take a really quick look. I'll explain to you what I was saying here.
In this part, you're halfway through the. Listen, my ears are clogged up. So when you see that, that's right.
Sorry.
I'm Mark Bowden. I'm an expert.
And the only two that
Communicate, including some
number one online body language course, bodylanguagetactics.com with Greg Hartley. Mark?
And I'm Josh.
I'm Mark Bowden. I'm an expert in human behavior and body language. I help people all over the world to stand out, win trust, and gain credibility every time they communicate, including some of the leaders of the G7. Chase.
Hey, I'm Chase Hughes. I did 20 years in the U.S. military, wrote the #1 best-selling book on human behavior profiling, influence, and persuasion. And I train people in those things today. Greg?
Greg Hartley. I'm a former Army interrogator, interrogation instructor.
Okay, so an Army interrogator means basically dick in this situation, because you're not interviewing the Taliban. So what are you going to do?
Resistance to interrogation instructor. I've written 10 books on body language and behavior. Put together this #1 bodylanguagetactics.com course with Scott Rouse. And I spend most of my time on Wall Street and corporate America.
All right. Not long ago, we interviewed Don Wells about his daughter, Summer, who's missing. And we got to go to Greg and I went to Kingsport. We all four couldn't go. And the only two that could go were Greg and I. So we had a little meeting and we got all of our questions together and decided how we'd approach it.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that church. I know they're Seventh Day Adventists or something like that. I don't know that much about yeah, exactly. Bring in the waterboarding. Hey, Dilsh, can you bring in the waterboarding kit, please? Greg's gonna go to work on homes here.
So what you're going to be seeing as we interview him is, as you saw, if you've watched the interview with him, like Greg always says, it's just the tip of the spear. That's all we were, but we were representing all four of us. So that's real important to know. And as we go through these, we're not going to go through every section of the interview, just the parts that we think are important that people are going to look at and go, oh, this means this, and oh, that means that.
Right.
When we'll find out if those actually do mean that or not. Greg, you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, so a couple of things. We met this guy in a hotel. This is not an interrogation room. We don't have bad.
I know, Greg. We know. You want to flog him and you want to tie his hands over his head. And I'd be cool with that. I would much rather watch with that. So I wish it was an interrogation room, a military tent somewhere, and whack him with a stick on the back every time he doesn't tell you the truth.
Edges. We don't have handcuffs. We don't have any of that kind of control. #1, we want to mention that. #2, the guy came there willingly and stayed as long as we talked to him. And
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna pacify him, he'll tell you whatever if he thinks he's getting over on you.
Finally left. I will tell you that at least 33% of people will be disappointed with our conclusion, no matter what we come up with.
Probably gonna be 93%.
This is a very serious case. We cannot say the name Summer Wells is missing enough times. She's still missing. We don't know what happened to her, and we really need everyone to pay attention to that. We'll flash up her information. As we went through this, we had our own ideas, and we have to overcome those. Any bias you have in your head, you have to come up with that. The other thing is to remember.
We get how it works, dude.
His ears were stopped up, and they really were, because sometimes we'll ask him a question. He'll say, what? And people go, oh, this is where he's busted. He couldn't hear. We talked to him out in the parking lot before that for, 5-10 minutes. And he was, everything, because he couldn't hear well. And he kept saying, listen, my ears are clogged up. So when you see that, it's not him being shocked by the question. He just didn't hear it.
Horse shit.
We know the difference in those two, the way those look.
I don't think
just so you know. And he prefaced it with that, and we went in knowing that. So, all right, you guys ready?
Let's go.
Here we go.
Oh, my ears are clogged.
How long is this?
Oh, my ears are clogged, you guys. My ears are clogged. Everybody thinks it's my fault. My ears are clogged.
The Saturday school lasts for the kids. We'll be there at 9:30. Well,
oh, my ears are clogged. My ears are clogged. Be easy on me, behavior panel. My ears are clogged.
we go to our first class. And it runs about an hour and a half, and then we go to the big room together.
And the kids are separated from everybody?
Yeah, at the first class, and then we all join together in the big room. And
So they have teacher different.
My ears are clogged. I was smoking crack for 3 days and drinking alcohol. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been real bad about the alcohol. My ears are clogged. So if I don't hear you right, my ears are clogged. Your ears are clogged? We know the difference between clogged ears and stalling tactics. We know the difference. Don't think that we don't know the difference. But my ears are clogged. We know, Don. We know. You told us, Don. My ears are clogged.
I guess you got different teachers.
Yeah,
for stuff.
like Robin and other ones that teach the younger ones. And there's a lot of kids there that are extremely happy.
Yeah. How many classes are there, do you think?
Well, you got your younger kids, and then you got your, I'd say there's about 3 or 4 different classes and age groups.
Are all the girls and boys that are at Summer's age are in the same class?
Yes.
Who teaches that class? Do they have a
I can't remember her name. I know Robin. I think maybe Robin
You heard that question just fine. Seems to be hearing questions just fine.
teaches the youngest ones.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
she was her teacher.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And that's why she was so proud, to give Robin that little yellow necklace.
You guys, I was up all night spackling and the mud kept falling in my ears, so my ears are clogged. And so if you ask me a hard question and I can't answer it, that's because my ears are clogged
And the bracelet.
from the spackle.
All right, Mark, why don't you go first?
Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk here about what I think he's very good at, because if you look across the interview on a whole, you're going to go, he seems to not know some details, but he knows the details he knows, and he doesn't know the details that he doesn't know. And what he does seem to know pretty well is spatially, like he can tell distance, and he knows if something's, the big room. Maybe can't name the room, but it's the big room. So not good at knowing the names of or the classes that people will be in. So you get a little micro shoulder shrug on that, even when he mentions, the buckets that people are put in, the partitions that they're put in. He's not quite sure. So as a baseline, we've kind of got to go. There's stuff that he's going to know, and we'll get downward intonation and we'll get a lot of certainty. And there's stuff that he just won't know. And some of the stuff he won't know, you and I might go, well, why don't you know that? Like, how come you don't know how old your kids are? Well, just so you know, it takes me ages to work out how old my kids are. Okay. And I love my kids, and I've spent my whole life with my kids. Okay. I would consider myself a pretty good father. And if you go, how old are your kids? I go, because I have dyslexia and numbers are really hard. Now, I don't know what medications Don is on. I don't know what.
Well, don't you think that would be important if you're going to give this guy an analysis? Hey, Don, what kind of drugs you on there, buddy?
Learning difficulties he may or may not have. That would take a different.
His learning difficulties are that he can't keep his hands to himself. He doesn't know how to take care of children. He is a predator. Let's see what else. He spackles good, I guess. He's a good finisher because his boss believes in him.
Type of interview, but I have to put into this that he won't necessarily not know things because he's covering stuff up. He's just going to not know stuff because that's not the stuff that he knows.
Mark, you could literally say that about anybody, though. Like, what honestly, like, why are you saying this? This could be said about any single person.
Now, what he does come with is the idea of being proud. Okay, so an emotional
I have dyslexia, so I don't know if my son's 13 or 31.
idea, and he illustrates.
Numbers are hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Numbers are hard.
1098765431.
That clearly demonstrates the pride there of the yellow necklace, the bracelet.
So here's the thing. A lot of this is just fluff. This is a show. It's fluff. There's a lot of fluff. Mark's fluffing right now. It's a Flufferton. It's Flufferville right now. We are Fluffville Station, population Mark.
Oh, and they're extremely happy. Again, happiness, pride. So he's able to access the idea of other people having emotions. That can be quite important. And he knows the stuff that he knows. I'm going to leave it at that. Chase, what do you got for us?
Wait, my son turned 12, but is he 21? I struggle with numbers.
Yeah, I agree with you on this baseline development here. What we're starting to see that it's common, even in the other videos and the rest of this video, that Don starts to answer a question before Scott or Greg was finished asking a question, just because he's got the gist of it. He says, oh, I understand what this question is. I'm just going to go ahead and start answering. So that's a baseline behavior for him. And there's a lot of illustrations and body narrations here. He's talking about the necklace, this bracelet. And we're starting now to see this tendency with his eyes, more specifically his blinking. And when Don is processing data, when he's trying harder to come up with something or to remember the specific details while he's talking, his blink rate is very quick. So there's an eye flutter there. So
right,
the more confident he is with the information, the less often he blinks.
Well, he'd have to blink longer because he's thinking of something to say. If he says something like, oh, is your name Don? He would go, yes. Don, do you know what do you think happened to Summer? I don't know.
So we see one thing when he's really confident about something that he's talking about, there's a marked
that's how everybody is.
Lowering in how often Don blinks in here. So those are the two things I'd like to just point out in the baseline.
Horseshit.
Scott.
Horseshit.
As I'm asking these questions, I've got my arms open like this, and my
I kind of like Scott. Oh, Scott seems cool.
questions are going, and they'll stop them
Greg seems all right too. Well, I'm not a fan of mine.
halfway through the question and hoping he'll pick up on what I'm saying, and then I'll move to further into that question.
Although his ears
So
are
it keeps
clogged.
him on his toes to be paying attention. So it feels like, even though he's been asked these questions before, if he has been, then he'll be trying to take
No,
in
he's
that
not.
information to make
Janice
sure it's the
Sweetie,
first
he's
that
not.
this is the first time he's been asked that question before. We are seeing those things where he's unsure. Both you guys nailed that, and he's not sure because he doesn't know. He hasn't been in-depth thought about those things. So he's just relaying information. He's not comfortable with this yet. He's really not in with us yet. So he's a little not standoffish, but he's a little bit he's holding back just a touch. But at the same time, the innocence and the eyes up and all that. This isn't. I mean, Don's a great guy, but he's not the most innocent guy in the whole wide world. So it's in that position, having a camera on you, being
Don's a what? Don's a what?
most innocent guy in the whole wide world.
Don's a what?
Same time, the innocence and the eyes up and all that. This isn't. I mean, Don's a great guy, but
Don's a great guy. Don's a great guy. Great guy. Caitlin, my ears are clogged.
he's not the most
What'd you say?
innocent guy in the whole wide world.
No
So it's
shit.
in that position, having a camera on you, being accused of something like this. A lot of people have accused him of it. Nobody in law enforcement has.
Nobody in law enforcement has. Well, they also haven't cleared him, Scott.
That's going to make him act that way as well. So he's going to be a little bit standoffish and worrying about how he looks to us, especially since he knows who we are and what we do. And that's the reason we're there specifically to do that. So, but I think he's holding up pretty good so far in this part. And you're right, Mark. We see a couple of things that let us know he's not sure. And it's not deception. I'm not seeing any deception in here whatsoever when it comes to these answers.
You're not seeing any deception whatsoever. Not even a hint. None. Not even a tinkle. Not even a sprinkle tinkle. Not even a just a little tiny specky. Not even a little tiny nothing. You don't see anything. Not even a drop. Really, guy? GTFO.
I'm just seeing him be unsure. Greg, what do you got?
Well, Scott, I think that we should tie his hands over his head and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, so let's walk down the same path. We start off looking at a factual presentation. We ask the right questions to get him to give us facts, just facts. There's no reason for him to tell us anything stupid. So
there's no reason to, but he's going to do it anyway.
we're looking for information about how he processes information. Mark, of the fact you picked up on the pride, he's talking about this jewelry. His chin rises even to show pride. That's what we typically
His chin rises. It's like when you scratch a dog under its chin.
associate with pride. When he's accessing and Chase, I'm with you. The blink.
Have they taken into account that this guy's a drug addict, alcoholic? Like maybe his tics aren't like a normal person.
Rate is an indicator of processing, and he only answers questions that he's picked up on. If he doesn't truly understand the
Hey Chase, can you get the spit proof bag? We're gonna tie this guy up here and give him a couple of wackadoos. See if we can get a little more info out of him. Scott, back up.
question, we'll see him stop, condition the question, maybe ask my house. We'll see it more than one time in here. But when he does understand the question, he just spits out facts and he gives you what he's got. Now, sometimes his understanding of the question may be tainted and some of that. And Scott, I would also say this. You see us behaving differently there than you see us behaving here. I told you I got all these wrinkles on my forehead from using my forehead, and I don't do it a lot here except for to show you what things look like. But when I'm talking to someone, I'm constantly twisting my forehead and looking at.
Kathy, if your son was 12, would you think that he was 21, Kathy? Is that what you would think, Kathy? Does it piss you the F off, Kathy? I mean, chill out, calm down. Just, don't get me riled up. Stupid. Just calm down. Relax, sister. Oh man, it just pisses me the F off.
At them.
Well, you must get pissed off really easy.
You'll be able to pick our body language up as well going through this. This is a good opportunity for us to see what's normal for him with little stress. And Scott's dead on when he came into the place. He was stressed. He knows what we do, and he came in to talk to us. I'll leave it at that.
So we're going to talk about numbers now. Dude, guys, I'm not saying that people with dyslexia don't have problems with numbers, but what does that have to do with your kid's age? Stupid.
All right.
How long does the Saturday school last for the kids?
We'll be there at 9:30.
I don't have
We got our
Super
first
Chats, no.
class. And it runs about an hour and a half, and then we go to the big room together.
And the kids are separated from everybody?
Yeah, at the first class, and then we all join together in the big room. And
So they have different, I guess you got different teachers.
yeah,
and stuff.
like Robin and other ones that teach the younger ones, and there's a lot of kids there. They're extremely happy.
Yeah. How many classes are there, do you think?
Well, you got your younger kids, and then you got your, I'd say there's about 3 or 4 different classes and age groups.
Are all the girls and boys that are at Summer's age are in the same class?
Yes.
Who teaches that class? Do they have a
I can't remember her name. I know Robin. I think maybe Robin teaches the youngest ones.
Yeah.
And
So
then-
she was our teacher.
I think so. Yeah. And that's why she was so proud, to give Robin that little yellow necklace and the bracelet.
Let's move forward then.
And did he ever teach them or anything? Did he ever do
David,
Yeah.
our pastor.
Yeah.
No, you're talking about David.
Okay, you got David Dawson, and then you got David, our pastor.
David the pastor, yeah.
The pastor.
Yeah.
He teach the adults. Like I would go to his class,
Yeah.
and my wife, the older months, and he's got an awesome class. Love it. Absolutely love it.
But never kid, you never work with the youth group or anything?
No, I'm not allowed.
Not the pastor.
I'm not allowed. I tried to take the all girls class on a trip, but they said no.
I don't know what he teaches in their school.
No,
I'm not familiar with that too much. I've been there, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right, Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, here if we watch him, he uses illustrators. I would go. He walks through and he's focused on what you're asking, but he's also trying to give you information. He's talking to Scott, trying to give him information. You'll notice that brow rise and him look at him and then look at me to see that we're perceiving. There's nothing to hide, but this is his request for approval, his chance to look and see if we are agreeing with what he's saying or understanding what he's saying. There's no reason to agree. We just need to understand.
Yeah, look, you're dyslexic clocks. Yeah, that I can understand that looking at numbers, but like, what does dyslexia have to do with remembering your kid's age? I mean, if you can't tell if your kid's 15 or 51 or 13 or 31 or 14 or 41, yeah, then you're gonna have a problem. But Kathy it just pissed her the F off. Oh, you just pisses me the F off, Josh, that you said that people with numbers are hard, Josh, and I don't know if my kid's 145 or 3.
His blink rate again, you see the processor speed come in, as
My
you would call
favorite.
it, Chase. As he gets to something where he needs to think, his processor speed starts to go into overdrive, and then he nods for affirmation to
That's
see if
called
you're getting
crack.
it. A lot of eye contact with both me and Scott, looking to make sure that we're understanding what he's saying. Not yet.
Not that you understand. He's trying to see if you're buying his bullshit, Greg. So go ahead and bring in Jihadi John so you can interview him. You're probably better at that.
Understanding why we're asking this. If you ask him, I guarantee you he wouldn't have said they're trying to get a baseline. He would have said they're digging for something. And when you ask a person a question, they first internalize that question, understand what it means before they try to answer it. And we're seeing that. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with you. These are the baseline questions. So we're seeing a little bit more of the blinking as they're just kind of getting close to any of these parts of the story that require some processing speed. And what Greg and Scott are doing here is very common in interview and interrogation. I think it should be way more common in employment screenings when somebody's going up for a job. But this baseline is a critical part of a conversation where I'm understanding how does this human being behave when they're not under stress, they're not being accused, and they're answering things that are truthful and that I can prove to be true. And we're looking for that behavior. So just to as an aside to this, if you were an interrogator or a job interviewer, you're in the business of talking to people and detecting deception, change is more important than understanding, like, here's what crossed arms mean, here's what genital covering means. Looking for changes and deviations in that person's behavior is a big deal. Somebody says scratching your nose is a lie. Or deceptive behavior. If someone scratches their nose all the time they're probably being deceptive is when they stop. So we're looking for changes more than just these singular behaviors.
And that's a great definition of baseline Chase just gave you.
That's it. Yeah. And so, and this is kind of Greg and Scott continuing to probe a little bit. And for most people, it would just sound like, okay, they're just asking this ancillary information to start building an idea, a story, a narrative, and an understanding of this environment. And we're seeing Don still on baseline. He's comfortable illustrating. So keep that in mind as we're going forward. He's comfortable illustrating with his hands. He's showing things. He's pointing and is using his body to show the story. Mark?
Yeah, so often if I'll interview people, I will try and get them to be emotional, try and get them to use emotional words, eventually try and get them to self-reflect, talk about themselves and see how they manage that. What's really interesting about this is he's going again by himself into emotional areas. I love it. It's awesome talking about the class. Now, you might say, and you'd have every right to say this, well, maybe he's putting that on. Maybe he's trying to put up a front. Maybe he wants to project this mask to us of being involved in the church. I don't get that from the way he says it. It's quite understated. It has downward inflection to it. He doesn't look for approval on that. It has a lot of earmarks for me that suggest he's being honest about he does love it. It is awesome. And that's something we might expect with somebody who is trying to find a new community. If you're going to buy into that narrative that he puts forward, and I'm not saying you should, if anything, I'm trying to give you some other ideas to go with here, because you already have your biases, and that's okay. But what if I'm right? I mean, you could say, hey, Mark, you don't know anything. You're not right at all.
I didn't know.
Okay.
Is Kathy
you can do
still
that.
here?
But what if I'm right?
Hi, Kathy.
Because if you're wrong early on, if your ship is a degree off of meaning at the start of your journey, you're so far off as you've gone down this narrative. So what I would suggest is, as we go through this, just close up your ideas a little bit, make them a little more lean, a little less extreme right at the start, and you might be able to hit the target at the end rather than being way, way off. So I'm going to say, when he says, I love it, it's awesome, that he's being honest.
I hope that sometime in your future, that 7 out of 10 times you dial the phone, you get the wrong number. Maybe. What does that have to do with knowing my kid's age, Kathy? Like, seriously, you're making a fool out of yourself. It's actually kind of embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you because you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm not meaning to rag on you here, but you could just leave. Like, why don't you just leave if you don't like what I said? That's the beauty of this. You could just leave, Kathy. It's okay. Like, nobody's gonna be upset if you leave. But I don't know what dialing a phone number has to do with remembering kids' age. Yeah, I get it. Dyslexic people have a problem. Calm yourself. It's fine. But can you not know your kids' age?
About that. You could prove me wrong in the end, but I'm going to go with he's being genuine about that. Scott, what do you got for us?
All right. One of the most important things we wanted to get to was finding out when he was explaining something, if he was doing it for the first time, if he was making something up. So the part about the confusion between that we discussed there was trying to have him spit that. So I don't know what's going on. Were you talking about this guy or this guy? Because we knew there were two with the same name. So as we went in, we wanted to make sure that we got that his explanation of things. So when we were confused, how he would look when he was explaining things to us. But then again, he was still open. This was filmed a little bit after, I believe it was after he cried a little bit, wasn't it, Greg?
Of course you did.
Yes. Yep.
That's why his eyes are watery like that.
No, that's not.
So, and he's coming down from an emotional, or trying to come back up from an emotional down at this point. But so we got a good handle on his baseline for explaining something he thinks we're confused about. So if we don't understand something he's explaining for the first time as he was there, in that explanation, we'll know.
Kathy, whatever. You took exactly what I said completely wrong. That's on you. That's not on me, Kathy. That's on you. If you're offended because I said this, just because you have dyslexia, it doesn't mean that you can't remember your kid's phone number. I could understand you not remembering your kid's phone number. The age, sorry, Kathy. And I hope you have a much better day. I really do. It sounds like you're having a problem.
So if we get if it were to get sticky and we start talking about some other,
but you still should know your kid's age, even if you're dyslexic. Phone numbers, I'll give you that.
Specifics that we need to know about. Is he said this before? Is he making it up? That was the reasoning behind that. So you guys covered everything else. All right.
Hey, one thing to point out, Scott, I think it's important because this is a long video. We're not going to cover every interaction we had with him. A couple of things to point out. Number one, Don does have a checkered past. I mean, I'm not going to try to defend this guy for whatever has gone on in his past, but every one of those things, no matter what you say, may or may not be true. We don't know all the details. That still doesn't mean that he did this. That's the reason we went to find out what he knew about Summer Wells, not to figure out what his past was. We were digging for something specific.
Seriously, I hope you have.
And so as you're watching this, and I don't think we're going to cover him crying today. I pushed him to an emotional state intentionally to see him cry. I asked him one time, how do I
You got David, our pastor.
David the pastor, yeah.
The pastor.
Yeah.
Is the
He
sound back?
teach the adults. Like I would go to his class,
Yeah.
and my wife, the older
Sound
ones,
back
and
or
he's
what?
got an awesome class. Love it.
What's up,
Absolutely love
Luca?
it.
But never kid, you never work with the youth group or anything?
No, I'm not allowed.
Not the pastor. I don't know what he teaches in their school.
No, yeah,
I'm not familiar with that too much. I've been there, but I don't know.
I've been there. I drove by it once and waved.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And he starts, coming up with excuses why he can't.
This
Start to ask him speaking about something he visually remembers, and then he does some downright, which we typically associate with emotion. So he's thinking as he's telling the story and he's giving out information. The cadence of his speech is a little more lilting as he's telling the story and telling you something and giving you a frame of reference for one of these guys. I told Scott it's a little bit like ghost stories when he's telling you all these different people he thinks may have done something, because he's trying to give you his thoughts and illustrate it with enough words to make it fit. Now, when we start to ask him stories about a question we start to ask him questions about the story, Candace's story, if he doesn't have that same level of detail, it's going to automatically make people jump to red flags. If it's secondhand story, it'll be a different way of telling, but this is him telling something that happened to him, and I believe it happened to him. It's easy to follow his baseline. Scott, what do you got?
Yes, he was fairly comfortable talking about this. His illustrators were open. He was very fluid with his. He was loping as he talked, and loping is when you just kind of go right along and everything sounds just fine, sounds the way it should. No deception in here anywhere. No need to be for any deception in here. Everything looked the way it should look. Everything sounded the way it should sound.
I bet you.
And we weren't getting any pushback from him on this kind of thing. Obviously, for this we wouldn't. But as he went into details of stuff, again, great for baseline as he starts telling about things he's experienced and is giving us that information. Because I don't think he's told anybody for the first time the things he found on the internet about drug use. I don't think that would be new to him. So that was the only part where I know I did, and I'm pretty sure Greg did too. Or like, you're telling us about that, and where he may have in his past experienced those things. I don't know how to word it.
That's
different. I can be
facts.
completely wrong. Don't know. But that's the only one I made sure to pay attention to, so I could know if that came up again, a situation, I would recognize those cues as we went through. All right, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
absolutely
I
right.
love
Couldn't
the
agree
Baby
more.
Ruths.
He's creating a story here. You've got all the elements of the story. He
The
does it
mini
really
ones.
well. He describes it
Not the big ones.
spatially. He takes on the characters. He does the voices. He does the emotions. So a great baseline as to what he'll do if he's really engaged with a story and he wants to engage you. I think he does the YouTube piece about the meth head because he wants to cast that character as the meth head. And so he goes, look, authority of YouTube, data point of 1, that'll be our meth head in the story. So I think that's what he's kind of, doing there. I think what this says to me is so he says there's an upward inflection right at the start here. I think he wants us to approve of how he handles this situation. And then he describes the situation, and this is
I don't like
And he
work
just-
that much.
there.
Me
Calm
trouble.
down, brother.
There. That's all I got for you.
That's it? That's all?
Okay.
And he starts, coming up with excuses why he can't make it to work and stuff, and giving me trouble. And then the day I fired him, he was, doing a pan like that there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he spent probably
Nobody
2
knows what
hours
you're
on it.
talking
Well, it should have took 20 minutes to coat that with mud.
No, nobody knows what you're talking about, Don. Nobody cares. Like you're giving drywall advice now. You're giving drywall. You're giving. How did I know? How did I know it would go there? Just giving drywall advice. Yay!
First coat, and we were supposed to do something else, and he just jumped on that, and he was speaking under his breath and just carrying on. And then he comes to me with a pan of mud, and he says, "There's all kind of trash in there. Get it out there, and give me some different mud." So I was like, "Lord, okay." I threw it away and got him some fresh mud, and he come back at me again. He's like screaming at me, "I told you, did you put it back in there or what?" And
You're familiar with that kind of behavior for somebody like that.
Yeah,
Did it seem like that was kind of
Well, I
behavior?
looked on YouTube of all the behavior that somebody on meth would have. The only thing
And when I Googled it, my name and face came up.
Only one I can remember is hyperactive.
The only one I can remember is hyperactive, and the other one's forgetfulness. And what's that, Kathy? Dyslexia, where you can't remember your kid's name or age?
Sure.
But but he was screaming at me, just go home. I'll take care of this job. I got this job. I'll handle it by myself or whatever. And I thought about that, and I went to lunch. And I come back, and I told him to leave.
I ate a meth bar for lunch.
Get off the job.
I told him to leave, get off the job.
Don't want to work with you one more second.
Don't want to work with you one more second.
And he didn't like that too well.
No, he didn't like that too well. I Sinful Butterfly. That's quite the name.
The incident with Summer happened when Summer disappeared. Where were you working that day?
Let's see. I was in Jonesboro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jonesboro, which?
Yeah, Jonesboro.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know this area very well.
Yeah.
How far away is that from home?
Well, it takes 45 minutes to get from there to my house.
Okay.
And
but it only took me 20. Or maybe it was 15, or maybe it was 30. I don't know. My daughter was missing. The time escapes me. But I don't know. I was at work. Remember that. It was the boys and Candace's fault.
So up 81 all the way. And that's where I was working.
All right. Chase, what do you got?
Oh, Chase, it's your turn.
So I think there's eloping.
Chase seems good. I don't know.
That's ever present through a lot of these things. Greg right here is probing for some more baseline.
Greg's the military guy probing.
And making a couple admissions that, I'm not from here. I don't know the area very well, which helps the other person to open up more. And this actually works. And his baseline is usually different when he's asking someone different.
Which part comes with the trigger warning, BS detector? Just curious. The whole thing's a trigger warning, but yeah.
Types of questions. So we're going to see his eyes move different ways. We're going to see him react different ways to something called episodic memory of events and things that he recalls.
Yeah, Chase.
And next is spatial and detail memory. So we're thinking about spatial and detail memory. This is like, what did the room look like? How big was something?
Hi, Stacy.
And finally, we're going to see a different behavioral reaction when he's discussing a memory of dialogue and when he spoke to a person. That may not be all the categories. This is the big three that we can actually pinpoint and look for here pretty easily. Greg and Scott left the silence there for him to keep talking, and it actually worked. You can see how easy this is. Greg and Scott just didn't say, okay, as soon as he became a little bit close to being finished, he continued to speak. When he says up 81, and that's where I was working, he continued to talk to fill in the silence, which is great. And we're looking at both of you guys in your quarter zip fleece. That had to be planned. I'm watching this video wondering
not a backup channel
about the planning channel for that. But Scott, I'll pass it to you.
Yeah, we didn't want to go in and match like
I think
we're twinsies, but it was important to at least have a look that from the top part you had this, but
trigger
the bottom
warning.
part you had
Trigger warning.
jeans that
Don
were a
Wells socks.
and a little bit, and Greg had on his cowboy boots and I had on sneakers, so we didn't want to look like we were FBI agents coming in suits and like, hey, tell me what's going on. He's been dealing with all that.
Of course.
We want to be kind of, so yeah, that's really good, Chase.
I wanted to bring it up just so people would understand why that was important, and you looked unified as if you were on a team together. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. We're okay. Well, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, where's my? Oh yeah. So and again, talking about the interrogation part of it. Listen to Greg's tone of voice.
Did he respond to you?
And it's odd for us to see Greg being all calm and soft about something, for a lot of people anyway, not me, and to be so kind as he's saying all these things, especially when somebody in that situation. So pay attention to our approach to these, the way we're talking. You'll see our tones of voices, however you say it, grammatically correct, change as we go throughout this. And our body language will change as well. Right now, we're being very still. We're getting things really, really quiet. The lighting guys did a great job in there because they made it almost feel like a room in there.
Yeah, they did a really good job. They made lips turn purple.
Of darkness around this light thing. The stuff we're looking at now will have to be brightened up a little bit because this edit of it is too dark. But we're taking.
Oh,
Mark, what
and
do you
people
got to
say we are telegraphing. Yeah, because it creates stress. And that's a wonderful thing to say, I'm about to ask you some hard questions. Well, what are you going to ask? And you can see it in people when you do it. But if you'll watch him, he's nodding to get agreement. And when he's
Greg goes, I'm going to ask you some hard questions. And if you don't answer them right, then I'll beat the shit out of you.
says, I'm up 81 all the way. You just should know that when a person changes this way, it means you're tapping into something that's creating stress for them. And it's clear in his case.
That was a room. That's the funny part.
Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so
Back
it
to
is
you,
a stress
Mark.
question. It is where were you the night of? So it's
Clear in his case.
All right, Mark, you're up, buddy.
Mark, what do you got?
yeah, so it is a stress question. It is where were you the night of? So it's one of the first questions
Very eccentric.
that's going to come in, which has some heat behind it. And you might look at it and you might go, wow, there's a bit of a pause there. And he doesn't seem to remember the name of the place, or, why doesn't that immediately come? Well, the things in his life don't immediately come. The numbers, the things don't immediately come. The space is there for him. He knows that really well. He doesn't access the names of things so well. There's a neural type that goes with that, but I'm not going to diagnose. And by the way, body language can often just be a Rorschach test of you. So I'm going to look at him and I'm going to most likely see
It could be a Rorschach test of you. Yeah, baby.
me, and you're going to look at him and you're most likely going to see you. So what you've got to do is pick up
He does look a little bit like Austin Powers. Do I make you horny, baby?
on some of what I'm saying and go, so is Don more like Mark, or is he more like me? Because I'm also going to engage my critical thinking as well and go, it feels like me. I bet he's a bit like me, and he can't kind of work out the name of things. But what if that isn't true? Perhaps it's not true. So you've got to use these critical thinking ideas of perhaps and maybe. So here's one of those. We see him take a big in-breath on that. And this is a critical question there. And his breathing
He takes a big in-breath and then he farted.
changes there. Well, I already know this is a critical question. And so I'm already primed to go, I want to check out his breathing, see if that breathing changes. Does he do big breathing, heavy breathing? And on a first glance, he does. But then I go back and look at the baseline and he doesn't.
Shall we shag now or shag later? Yeah.
So you got to keep going back and looking at the baseline. This is not, really far enough off his baseline that I would suggest that he wasn't exactly where he says he was at this point. I think any disruption in this, any deviance from the baseline that we've got is about, this is a pressure question. This is an institutionalized guy. He knows that when the big questions come, you got to be careful.
John, here's the baseline questions. Do you spackle? Yes. Have you been to prison? Yes. Okay.
Whatever, whether you did it or you didn't do it, you've got to be careful. That's what I got for you on that one.
Well, thank you for your astute presentation. Thank you for getting right to the point and not over animating your hand gestures while you're talking.
The incident with Summer happened when Summer disappeared. Where were you working that day?
Let's see. I was in Jonesboro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jonesboro, which?
Yeah, Jonesboro.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know this area very well.
Yeah.
How far away is that from home?
Well, it takes 45 minutes to get from there to my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
But does it really though?
And so up 81 all the way, and that's where I was working.
Is there anything about Candace's story
you wanna
that makes
come up?
you question the story?
No, not the way it played out and everything like that. I mean, yeah,
I'll come up.
you always have questions, and I'd ask myself, and but the way that it happened and her emotions and her state of mind.
What were the questions that you had?
I mean, I don't really have any. I mean, I don't really have any questions. I mean,
Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, so this is a really good example. I had a question, asked the thought. I heard him stammer, stutter. I had a follow-up, and I actually stepped on Scott because Scott was trying to get more information out of him here. If I'd been a little quieter, we would have gotten a little more information. But I think he was, candidly, I
No
think
worries,
he's
brother.
out of information. He was just stammering to stammer. This made me wonder, did he truly believe the story he'd been told? Because what he's telling us is a story that's secondhand. And when he tells us a secondhand story, it's rote memory. It's exactly what you expect from a secondhand story. You'll see him push his tongue out of his lips. Now, his lips are bright ruby red, and we think it's probably because he smokes a fair amount.
Right, ruby red. He's so proper.
His lips a lot on when he gets under his tongue out of his. Did he truly believe the story he'd been told?
Yeah, no
Because what he's
problem, man.
telling us is a story that's secondhand. And when he tells us a secondhand story, it's rote memory. It's exactly what you expect from a secondhand story. You'll see him push his tongue out of his lips. Now, his lips are bright ruby red, and we think it's probably because he smokes a fair amount and that kind of thing. But he does lick his lips a lot on when he gets under the stressful situation. Means something, maybe, but it isn't his baseline.
Sick.
As he's going along, though, he cannot finish an entire thought. Now, he
That's
is
because he's a
not
crackhead.
the most eloquent speaker, and Don would tell you that himself. I'm not beating him up for the way he speaks because we all have our own patterns. I have my own very southern speech pattern. But
Oh,
he
you seem to speak
stops and
fine,
stammers
Greg.
and I'm sure, number one, he's got to realize that Candace is going to watch this. Number two, how does it work their stories? So this is a stress moment. We're seeing something in him that causes both Scott and I to want to go, why can't he answer that question with a simple no? If you asked me if my wife did something, I would have said no.
Okay, but that goes against everything that Scott says, that he there's no deception whatsoever. You guys got to link up better. Come on, guys. So either you don't understand or Scott doesn't understand.
Very simply, this is not a no. This is something much different. Scott, what do you got?
Yeah, that was the point we were both. I was waiting for Greg to jump up his hind end, and he was waiting for me to jump up his hind end. But we knew better than that at that point, because all he's got to do is get up and leave. If we leaned into him really hard at that
That's
point.
okay. So that makes sense, actually. But after the fact, now you don't have to worry about him leaving. Now you don't have to worry about him leaving. So lean on him again. I get it. He can get up and just leave. So when you're doing the interview, that's fine. But then your panel, that's when you can really, lean into them. But it doesn't seem like you're going to. I don't know. I hope. Come on now.
And loping stops here. Loping is where you're telling a story almost like something loping through a field, like a horse running through a field, that kind of thing. And we're not seeing that here. He's editing as he goes along. He's self-editing in real time. Should I say this? What am I going to say? Then when he decides he didn't have any questions, when I said, well, what kind of questions did you have? And he didn't. And again, notice my tone of voice when we're saying that, because we know this is important. We can say, well, what kind of questions did you have? So we had to say, what kind of questions did you have? Almost like throwing it out there. And when he's answering, as he self-edits, he's thinking, I've got to be cool about this, because you're right, Greg. He's got to go home to his life and his wife and live there. And she's going to be like, what, you don't believe me? The hell are you talking about? You don't believe me. So he's got to deal with that. Knowing that is.
What kind of relationship do you think that they have? Do you think that they give a shit if they believe each other about anything? The problem, it's not that if they believe it, they don't care about that. They cheat on each other. They lie to each other. They beat on each other. They call the cops on each other. They press charges on each other. What is it? It's not that. And here's the thing, dude. It's not even that they're iffy people. It's just that, like, these aren't really the kind of people that these aren't the kind of people that they really, talk to. And a couple of them are military interrogators. What good is that going to do you here? I mean, all you're doing is asking them the same questions everybody else can ask them. And then you interpret it the way that you're interpreting it, but that doesn't actually mean that you're right. You might have some valid points and you probably have some shitty points, but it's not really like this isn't the end all be all. I mean, we wouldn't need trials and juries and, you know.
As well, it was the reason for our soft approach. But it's really important in there because that's when you're right, Greg. That's when we both said, you know what? I'm not so sure he believes what she's saying. And we expand on that at another point, but this is really important part of it because this is not in his baseline. This is completely out of his baseline. He's really quiet.
Very smart guy.
His blink rate goes low. He is licking his lips, but I don't think that's pushing out, sour taste and all that. I don't think that's that at all. I think it's like a tick, like a nervous habit he has. That's why his lips are so slick from smoking and doing that all the time. So, and licking his lips all the time. I think that's what that's from. So that we're not seeing I'm not going to say we're not seeing deception in there because it's seeing a bunch of red flags. And they're like 4 of them in a row right there where he starts slowing down and he's editing.
That's why I like Greg because Greg just looks like he's ready to just beat the hell out of him.
But that really was a point where
Chase, I don't think Chase is buying it either. Scott seems like a really nice guy. I don't know what's going on with Mark down there, but there's something going on. Mark looks a little constipated.
I go, I'm not so sure he believes what he's saying. And as he's editing himself, I think he knows what he's going to say, but he's chopping it up and pushing things back into rows to make sure everything's straight so he's good to go. Mark, what do you got?
He's the most entertaining.
Yeah, so here's what I think he does.
Oh, it's Mark's turn. Oh, do I make you horny, baby? Yeah.
So he says he doesn't have questions about how it played out, the physical time of the narrative, all the stuff that he's good at. He doesn't have any questions around how that story played out, the time span, the space. I don't think he's got a problem with that. He's got no questions around that. The emotions and the state of mind. Now, again, he's talked about emotions in his baseline, and he's pretty good at going, proud and naming emotions and happy. And so, and those are pretty basic, but that's a good baseline to say, if he thinks he knows that somebody is emotionally in a state, he's already said that he's pretty good at that. He's proved that he's pretty good at that. So he's got no problem with that. He says, you always have questions. So we could bias towards the idea of, maybe he does wonder, is Candace's story correct? Or maybe it's just the idea of, well, until you know something for sure,
I don't know, but
you always have questions.
It'll be the talk of
so
the
there's
town.
the idea of mystery always exists, regardless until mystery is solved. And he says, and I've asked myself. Doesn't really finish.
Are you
that.
Randy,
the question
baby?
Is, what have you asked yourself? Because if you ask it of yourself,
that's fun stuff.
Is it that, well, I asked myself, could I have done more? Could I have been better? Could I have protected more? In this whole interview, you hear about how unprotected that place is. It's completely exposed with people coming up.
Hey, Mark. Mark, I'm going to need you to do decaf from now on. All right.
Swapping out dogs.
Swapping out the dogs.
Just, I'll take your dog, I'll leave some other dogs there.
I'll take your dog and I'll leave some dogs. And then the dogs will be with the dogs will be with the dogs.
They come up on horses, all kinds of other stuff.
Horses.
To do stuff and things. And
stuff and things, horses.
So it's a bit of an odd situation.
No shit, Mark.
Up there. And maybe you would ask yourself, is this really somewhere that have I really provided the right place? Has my wife, my partner provided the right place? So it could be that. I question any eye blocks on that. Chase, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, let me speak for Chase. Don's an idiot.
You guys got all the good stuff here. But this video really shows us the power of baseline and how important baseline is. We know Don Wells likes to start questions as soon as he is able to get the gist of what you're asking him. This question was concise, crystal clear, and easily understood. And this amount of hesitation here would be a significant red flag for me in any interview. And I think Don starts to roll down a hill that Scott kind of put him on here, and making him start to speak specifically about what he doesn't believe about the story. Because Scott kind of left a little incomplete question, or just kind of tossed that up.
I like him.
What
It's
is it?
funny.
What is it you question? And just kind of started this ball rolling. And there's an increased blink rate when he's denying that he fully believes Candace's story, or he doesn't have any questions about it.
I love
And there's a
English
single
accents,
shoulder
Irish
shrug,
accents.
which indicates a lack
Fantastic
of
stuff.
confidence in what a person is saying right at the end here. And if we scored this on the behavioral table of the elements for deception, the score would be a 16.
Look at my books
with
that
a
are all in
score of
order.
11, indicating a likelihood of deception.
Crystal
Yeah.
clear, like crystal
Is there
meth.
anything about Candace's story that makes you question the story?
Yes, everything.
No, not the way it played out and everything like that. I mean, yeah, you always have questions, and I'd ask myself, but the way that it happened and her emotions and her state of mind.
What were the questions that you had?
I mean, I don't really have any. I mean, I don't really have any questions. I mean,
You've got some past. You said recently you've had some drug and alcohol things. Maybe have you? Who in your life would you think is less than above
Recently or forever?
board that you deal with?
who in life has been above board?
Yeah, who's less than above board? If I was saying,
Oh, not nobody that I know of except for our neighbors and stuff. You know, I mean, the guy, the meth heads and stuff like that, and whatever like that. I mean, we're trying to fly right, and we're trying to do the.
oh, I
things
get
the
it,
right
man.
way.
Life is. I would say life is a challenge between being this and what is underneath.
Okay, and let me back up for a minute with the stepsisters. They said they never knew we had a daughter.
The stepsisters.
2.5, 3 years ago, I called my dad, and they were there, and they were bragging. You know, I was like, they was asking about Summer, and I was like, yeah, you know, and so they said they named one of theirs Winter. So they knew. They lied.
One of theirs? One of their whats? One of their whats?
They said they didn't know.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
Back to you, Greg. Well, now we're going to get out the spike strips and we're going to lay him down on a hot coal bed and take a sledgehammer to his toes.
Yeah. So in this case, we're asking him just some simple questions. Now I just lost my thought. Sorry. Hit that again. I've lost it entirely.
Yeah. Is it the dog dick red lipstick?
That's something else.
Let me edit that
Which
out.
one was two?
Greg, what do you got?
Yeah. No, I may have to watch it again.
Yeah.
Which one was
Yeah.
two? Oh yeah. Who's above board? Here we go.
Not waterboarding.
There's some comedy for you. So who's less than above board? You see him. He's like, what are you talking? Oh yeah. I get it. And he does recognition, and he's
It's like Norm McDonald. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah.
and his eyes lock as he's saying this. We try to stay above
Lick,
board.
lick,
Now,
locks.
I know. And he said, I've used drugs. I've done this. I've done that. So he knows some people that are less than above board.
I've done frog. I've done ketamine. I've done opioids and whippets. We get them from the sex shop. When me, Allie, and Candace want to go in on a three-way. It's really cool. What we do is we go get the whippet chargers from the store, and then we just be getting whip it all night. Whip it good. Whip it good. Whip it now, whip it good. Whip this just like you should. My neck, my back.
my standards. He's probably interpreting what I'm saying. And so you see him making eye contact. And then he goes back to get out one of the stories that he came there to tell. Because clearly Don had stories he wanted to tell. These are the ghost stories I was talking about. He's going to tell you these stories. So he brings up the stepsisters, and you can see it. You can see a change in his code, in his cadence. He starts off when he's trying to figure out what I'm talking about, stammering and stuttering and a little slow, then makes good eye contact. Oh yeah, we try to stay above board, and then goes back into a storytelling mode. That's what I saw. And I just kind of discounted the sisters thing as just something he needed to get out. And that was that. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, I would agree completely. You
Here we go, baby.
You don't get stuck in his soap opera, because this
there we
really
go.
is a piece of storytelling here.
I like this.
It's a classic. So you got stepsisters, so that instantly tells you that they're going to be cast in the bad light. You're going to have a Cinderella character, the symbol of virtue unrecognized, which is the dirty little waif, and that's Summer. And you're going to have territorial aggression. So you've got
Here we go. Now Mark's speaking the truth.
got fighting over the crown, which is
The crown. Calm down, Chief. I mean, it's cool. I
the
like your
summer-
energy, but you're a bit much.
and winter battle that he talks about there. So there's some classics in there of a really good soap opera narrative of family breakdowns and territorial aggression. And so it could, it looks a little bit like a sidestep into that narrative. But I think you're right, Greg. This is a story that he wants to get out.
Right, because what they're going to do is they're going to hear that you essayed your sisters. That's why.
He wants to play that narrative game, that YouTube game, as much as anybody else that he sees himself as battling against, that if they're going to make up a story, then I reckon I can tell a good story as well. And I would say it's a classic example because he draws down on a universal narrative instantly. If it were a truer story, there'd be more detail and it wouldn't fit.
Well, yeah,
so
none
well, that
of them
universal
ever
narrative.
shut
So he
up.
just kind of draws down on a classic. And
That's
just
why
one
he said they're getting all the good stuff.
last thing is he does that same kind of head turn away and locks eye contact with a challenge gesture there to Greg on this, same as he did with, I think, how'd you get to your house? So, when he gets confused, or maybe more likely is worried about the nature of the question and what is this question really about, we see the aggression come out here. And he wants to sidestep this idea of who he's connected with that don't fly right. So an interesting theme that carries on there. He wants to completely take himself away from the names of the people that call by who don't fly right. There.
Don't fly right.
Scott, what do you got on this one?
All right. This was a really interesting one because as we're going through it, he's from the beginning of this, when we started talking to him, he suspects everybody. That's why he's bringing up all these parts by his stepsisters and people from YouTube and this and that. He suspects everybody. I mean, Greg, I don't know how many people, I think I counted up to 12 at one point he was talking about, and talked to him the other day, and he was suspected the guys who came and were, didn't suspect him, but he said, hey, what about these guys that were cutting down the trees in my yard? Could that be the kind of, I'm wondering if that would be. So he's got all these things that say he's concerned and really wondering who did this. That's one thing that stood out to us as we went through this. And so that's the reason he's poking on those stepsisters who said some bad stuff about him, whether it's true or not, I have no earthly idea. But apparently it's been recanted what they said. So probably not true.
Don't know. Don't know that to be a fact.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what he told me anyway. So so as he's going through this, it's really, for me, it's really simple. He doesn't know exactly where we're going in this yet. I mean, he's got a pretty good idea. But when we start asking questions like this that he's not ready for, why would you ever ask something like that? But he starts associating himself. He's using what's called, it's the same language addicts use. You hear Peter Hyatt talking about that, how people who are addicts will talk that way as well, about we try to stay away from, it wasn't I try to do this. It's like we as a group try to stay
My
away from this
lips
kind
are
of people.
super ruby red right now.
That's
'cause
right.
I've
I'll
been
stop
snorting
there. Keep
coke
short.
all
Chase,
night.
what do you got?
One thing, we're just talking about the we thing here. Don is, if we divide people into using three types of pronouns in their communication, There are people that use self pronouns, team pronouns, and then others in reference to other people. And Don uses a whole lot of team pronouns, even talking about the church, our Sunday school. We like to do this. We like to do this. So always speaking about he and Candace as our, us, we, which I think is a pretty good sign for how he feels about his connection to her at the time that he was answering those questions. And right at the beginning of this clip here, you're going to see him close his eyes almost all the way for a minute to process this question and process the data. So he's really going through his mind. He is honest, I think, about trying to fly right. I think he's 100% honest. But what we don't know is his definition and his relationship to the words fly right, his relationship to the idea of what that means to him. There's this head nodding that we're seeing here is honest. There's comfortable cadence that he's loping here. He's on message. So this whether or not this is rehearsed does not make it deception. We can rehearse true things all day long. It's like our YouTube intros. They're truthful and very, very rehearsed. So, and he's shaking his head exactly at the point that
he didn't get a laugh out of that one. He wanted a laugh.
Someone else. So I think this is on message, is truthful.
Been there, done that.
So I think this is on message, is and he's shaking his head exactly.
He looks. He's going for the laugh.
And in an interrogation scenario, and do this big redirection, I will treat that as a denial, and he's discussing the denial of someone else. So I think this is on message, is truthful, and in an interrogation scenario, and maybe in a regular conversation, this may come in handy. But if someone tries to do this big redirection, I'm going to treat this like when he's backing up to talk about his sisters, I will treat that as a denial, and I will stop it using the same process. I'll put my hand up and say, Don, I know that's very important to you, and I promise we're going to get to that in just a minute. And go right back to what we were talking about. The reason I think, I can't speak for him, Scott and Greg did this, is because this is not an interrogation. He's not captive, and he can walk out of that room at any time, and they're not there to get a confession to a crime per se. They're there to collect data, and they're specifically there to collect a whole lot of data, as much very rehearsed. There's this head nodding that we're seeing here is honest. There's comfortable cadence.
Watch this.
That he's loping here. He's on message.
Chase wants a laugh.
Whether or not this is rehearsed does not make it deception. We can rehearse true things all day long. It's like our YouTube intros. They're truthful and very, very rehearsed. So
whap, whap, whap.
And he's shaking his head exactly at the point that he's discussing.
Recently,
Bill said people don't confess in a crowd. The same mindset, right? That's the way you got to look at it.
you've got some past. You said recently you've had some drug and alcohol things, maybe.
Yeah.
Who in your life would you think is less than above board that you deal with?
Who in life has been above board?
Yeah, who's less than above board? If I was saying,
No, not nobody that I know of except for our neighbors and stuff. You know, I mean, the guy, the meth heads and stuff like that, and whatever like that. I mean, we're trying to fly right, and we're trying to do the.
I get it, man. Life is. I would say life is a challenge between being this and what is underneath.
Okay, and let me back up.
Now give me my flogging tool so I can beat on him. Oh my God! Look at those lips.
For a minute with the stepsisters, they said they never knew we had a daughter. 2.5, 3 years ago, I called my dad and they were there, and they were bragging. You know, I was like, they was asking about Summer, and I was like, yeah, you know, and so they said they named one of theirs Winter. So they knew. They lied when they said they didn't know.
Yeah.
I told you I'm gonna have to ask you some hard questions.
Yeah.
So what do you say to somebody who says, no, you're involved, your family's involved? How do you respond to that?
Well, for 3 months, I spent on the phone for 3 months. I accepted every friend request there was. People want, well, I'm your friend, we can look for you. And, you know, for 3 months, I stayed on the phone day and night trying to find my baby, because I figured Facebook's the best tool possible to help find her. And but there's this group on Facebook.
No, Don. Facebook is the best place possible for you to try and meet underage girls, and you got tricked and still fell for it because you're dumb.
Batting us the whole time, and we don't know who this group is or what they're up to.
All right, Greg, what do you got?
So this one bugged the hell out of me. I've watched this one a dozen times. I've poked on this one because it is
Uh-oh. Greg's pissed.
the most anomalous thing he does through this entire video. I was sitting across from him and thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? He just shifted gears and went down the path of, I'm on YouTube, I'm doing this, I'm playing around on Facebook, not YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm answering every email, I took every friend request. But
I've seen this part and I feel like they let him off the hook.
his body language doesn't look like he's nervous or lying. I was thinking this guy's either like some mastermind evil genius guy,
And we know that's not the case.
and he's been playing me the whole time, or I'm missing something. And I watched this video a
You're missing something.
dozen times probably, and just over all that time still couldn't get exactly to what it was.
When did Chase put glasses on?
And Scott pinged it. Scott, you want to tell him what you saw?
Ping.
Yeah. So when that happened, Greg and I were both like, oh, you can hear it. If you're in our brains, your ears go, oh, God, here it is. I got it now. We look like ventriloquist. Oh, my God, dude, here it comes. And so what happened was this. He didn't understand the question. He thought it was, how do you respond to those people who are saying that on Facebook, in social media? What do you do to respond to that? Not like if we were to say, so what do you think about when people say that we think you're full of it? What do you think about that? That's the way we're coming. That's the way we thought it was delivered, but it wasn't delivered. But he didn't take it that way. In other words, he thought we were saying, how do you respond to those people on Facebook and on YouTube? That's his answer. That's why he goes back to, I joined all these things because I know that's the number one place to find out about a missing child. I know. So he's telling us the things he did to help her. So his brain isn't even going down that road that he might be in trouble for something. Now, if you'd been waiting for that question or on guard, you would have taken that question for the way it was meant. But he didn't. His head wasn't in that space, because even if you were in there a little bit, you would have been on there and go, hey man, here's what I say. But he took, how do you respond?
Oh yeah, they all have.
Those people.
They're all wearing glasses now. Power Rangers, power up
on Facebook. That's why we're seeing it. And after that, man, just lopes right along, tells us everything.
Where are your glasses at, Chase? Put your glasses back on. Mark, you look way too happy to be here. Greg, you look like you're about ready to beat the shit out of somebody. And Scott looks like a retired hostess from an Applebee's.
Not a whole lot there that's outside the baseline at all. Mark, what do you got?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you guys should have called me.
Let's see. See if I can get this. Does this work? Does that work? Does that work? I don't know. Does that work? I'm trying to put it in there. Share. Bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba 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 bum. Copy link to clipboard. There he is. It is.
Shut up, Mark.
I saw you in it was Ziggy's chat last night. That shit was funny. Sandra! They got
what's
pissed.
going on right now? It's all the background. Oh, is that me?
Yeah,
son
dude.
of a bitch. It is me.
What's going on right now?
Well, I was like, why am I hearing this stuff?
Hey,
in the
Doug,
background?
you ever been on YouTube before?
This is my first time ever being on someone else's show.
Probably.
No, right? Probably the last time. It's always a first and a last, right?
Look at that, Doug. My channel, my Cash App.
Hey, guess what? Let me tell you something about the whole Facebook thing. You know why Don is saying that he accepted all requests? It's because what it's doing is taking him out of the faction that, he was actually hitting on these women or actually accepting them on the basis of thinking he has a chance to be with them.
I know. Yeah.
He's just.
Do you like his lips?
Oh God, when I was cracking up next to this old lady and her husband walking, on their canes, and I was walking Winston, and I was like trying to avoid them, and then I heard the old red lip thing, and I lost it. I like how they had dick sucking lips, and the lady looked back. Oops, my bad.
I like how they had to address it because it was just it's so prominent. It's disgusting.
Because the moment I saw that, I understood because I understand the neural type. He missed the spirit of the question. The spirit of the question is what you say to anybody on the planet, nobody specific, but like anybody who says you probably know what went on here. His brain goes, oh, you're talking about somebody specifically. And it goes, I know specifically who you're talking about. And it locates that specific person and the group they belong to and starts.
Why does he look like the guy doing sign language for the president when he gives a speech?
Dude, he looks like Austin Powers.
That and like a bad mix of like, who's that? I cannot believe it's not butter spray.
Fabio,
like Fabio, and yeah, like a little Fabio and a little
Fatio.
Yeah, a little Fatio, and they get hit in the face with the dove. You remember when he's on a roller coaster? And
I can't believe it's not butter.
Spray. He always throws that in at the end. Couldn't believe it's not butter. Spray. And he does the hair flick.
Lick, flip.
Dude, Don's done something for those lips. He lick, pop something.
Dude, it was bad. He either was licking a cherry lollipop before he went on there, or he has the highest blood pressure of all time and smokes.
Or what about Rufus's Red Rocket?
Wow,
that's rough. That's a bark, by the way. Rough.
Rick Rock
that he could and should do to appease that individual or unnamed
Chase is like, get me the fuck out of here.
Unspecified group. The spirit of the question
Greg
was
actually had hair before this all started.
Greg's a military interrogator. Crazy ass. What is he doing here?
No, you can't be Osama bin Laden.
Yes,
you're not tall enough.
He's been wanting to flog Don from the second he got there.
Totally.
Look at his face.
He wants to do what Chris McDonough does and connect little battery chargers to your nipples.
Yeah.
Connect it to a copier.
Dude. And well, the funny thing is too, like when he's sitting here and you can see the displeasure in his face, he's like, this is my retirement fund, so I have to be good. But if it was up to me, I'd be pulling Don's toenails off with some pliers right now.
The kind of person who doesn't believe you. He went, I know the person you're thinking of. Let me tell you everything that I've done to appease this group. So yeah.
Is it raining down there?
No, it should be.
Dude, it's
supposed to be pouring by tomorrow.
Pouring here.
Let me tell you, this guy Chase at the bottom, is he the executive producer on Dr. Phil, or is he part of Dr. Phil?
He's on Dr. Phil.
Yeah, but does
the big Phil sign behind him tell anything to you?
No. What I'm saying is that this is not good though, because what they're going to take from this is bring a lot of what he brought from this conversation over to
Chase
Dr.
is
Phil.
behind the shit, is he? I think Chase is a little more tuned in. I really do.
I hope so, because if he gives us another bullshit interview like this, or like the one that he had with them before this, the stuff that we already know that he's lying about, then it's just going to be null. It's going to be stupid. It won't have an effect on this case at all, and it's not going to find Summer Wells.
Well, I hope
it's going to be all about I'm innocent. I didn't do it, and Candace is innocent. That's it. I never sexually assaulted anybody. I never did that.
Well, he said, he tells them
out there that will take
he's going to have to lie.
Really,
he's a liar.
Quite literally. And he could be part of that group, or it could be the pressure of this moment, or simply that
basically, honestly, all they're doing is giving you every theory possible except like the good ones.
Question that comes is a Rorschach test, and you just go, well,
this is the second time he's brought up the Rorschach test.
Well, here's something I want to get off my chest.
Give me the Rorschach test so I can get it off my chest.
Get off the meth. Get it off your chest and get off the meth.
So I can take the test to get it off my chest so I can get off the meth.
Listen, I went to Harvard, okay? Fuck you guys.
You guys are a couple of pieces of shit.
Oh, I have a degree from Harvard.
I make women horny, baby. Yeah.
Here's what it means to me. And so I'm going to take your question and unconsciously make it the question that would mean that I could give you this answer.
Right.
But look, the important thing
Winston
for me
doesn't have a
is
jacket.
look how far awry you would go if you took his answer as being
a real answer.
Why is he? How did he turn? How did he get all the way sideways without me seeing him? You see, you gotta get.
He moves. He's a mover. He's a mover
like a
and
cat.
a shaker.
He's got a cat-like.
Well, it's weird because sometimes all four of them, if all four of them wear their glasses at the same time, we get 6 more weeks of winter.
You know what's funny is when they actually look at each other and be like, "Yeah, that's exactly what Greg was about to talk about. Go ahead, Greg." And he gives him the answer to the question that he's asking.
Yeah, Greg says, "Yeah, I think he's lying." Yeah, he's definitely lying. Back to you, Greg.
Or not telling the truth, or which you could easily mistake it for if you wanted to, if you didn't take this.
Don has a lot of pride, but he's taking a shit in a bucket on a live.
Listen, he did not even eat a tea and crumpet today. I'm so upset. So upset. I could go and yell out the window to Harvard.
Oh,
Harvard, I'm mad right now. Harvard, help me.
Look at his hair. He
looks
I
like
love it. He's got good hair.
He's gonna make some dude happy someday.
Well,
I'm sure he's already made a couple.
Just didn't understand the spirit of the question here.
It's not the spirit of the question. He's an idiot. Dude, somebody got mad at me earlier because they said that Don has dyslexia, so he could forget his kid's age really easy. And I said, what does that have to do with dyslexia? Like, you can't know if your kid's 13 or 31. And this lady that I said
seen, 11 is the best age for them.
That's what I was thinking too. Any age that's like double numbers would be good. But then she went off on saying, I agree with you on this and that. But when you say that this doesn't affect dyslexia, that pisses me the F off. She wrote the F off, not the actual F word. And I was just like, what does this have to do with dyslexia?
Who would ever tell you to F off?
Well, that's true.
Chase, you got anything different from that?
Chase, back to you.
Chase, I'll think of you.
He's like a
he's like a snitch blade. Him in court.
Chase, you got anything? Didn't understand the spirit of the question here. Chase, you got anything different from that? Shock us if you can.
It sucks. You guys got everything, but
he's like, it sucks.
Can I ask you, Scott and Chase?
He said,
Greg,
hey, Chase.
It's like Hollywood stupids, not squares.
Chase, back to you. This sucks.
I will say,
didn't understand the spirit of the question
Watch
here.
This.
Chase, you got anything different from that? Shock us if you can.
It sucks.
Did you see him afterwards? He's like,
then he just hits him with it sucks.
Didn't understand the spirit of the question here. Chase, you got anything different from that? Shock us if you can.
It sucks.
Tell us now. If you don't, forever hold your peace.
Chase has literally been getting the caboose of all the questions, and then he's just like, I don't even know what to say.
He's not even being asked, and he's like, and Greg and Scott think the same way. What about you, Chase?
What about you, Chase? And then Chase goes,
let's single Chase out. Fuck you, Chase. What is it?
What do you think, Chase?
If you can.
What do you think about this, Chase?
It sucks.
Oh, okay.
It sucks. But I will say, on the just the analysis of the behavioral table of elements, if you just use that with no experience, you would have seen hesitancy, you would have seen ambiguity, and you would have seen a non-answer. That's not even that's just his verbal. That's not his body. So you would have seen all those,
More
which
like
would give you a score of 12. Not understanding that
I think Chase is smart. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, he's the only one in a suit.
Well,
Mark Bowen's kind of got the sport coat on, and
I think they're all smart guys.
From a polo game.
I truly do. I truly think they're all smart guys, but this is a hobby.
Way smarter than us. I mean, we're on our own panel. They're on an actual panel.
No. Way smarter than you.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What did you type back to these people?
I love his
How
accent,
did you
though.
respond to these
I really
people
want to punch
who are
Chase. They're not
making
Chase,
accusations
Mark.
on the internet? So I think it's fascinating.
I make you horny, baby.
The beginning is not deception at all. That's in processing.
You and Winston take the dump under the same tree this morning.
No, on top of a bush.
Did you guys go buddy?
Yeah, I double dutched him.
Did you sit right next to him and squat down right
I
next to him?
squatted over him because he's got a good curl, and I know that I could curl right behind him and hold on for dear life. It's like
It's like
a
those
It's
people
like
that-
riding a 2-seater bicycle.
Have you ever seen those
basically.
people that sit on the toilet and then the other person sits on them like facing forward and they can double drop a deuce?
That's what
Yeah,
got
that's so
me.
weird. I don't know what you make your kids do, bro, at
I wanna
home to
look-
save water.
We only
I
have
know
one
that you-
toilet and it's a low flow.
I told
California.
we only have one sewage bucket, okay? So 3 of us can sit on it once.
Hey Josh, what do you think about the Green New Deal?
Think rate went up.
Hey, D-Manch,
and I
can you
knew
get us a new 5-gallon jug?
process. He doesn't need to process. Well, like, here's what I would say to a person. He needs to process. Here's all the messages and human beings that
Oh,
I've
by the way,
spoken
can you
to.
hold on, put on pause again?
Sure.
Dude, Chris got hacked again.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm waiting for more. I was asking him if he wanted to come on tonight, hang out with you and me. And he let us know, but he's been dealing with recording tonight's show and not going live, because I think some are waiting. So I guess he's not going to go live. He's recording tonight's show.
What
And he says, he says, I was hacked by an attacker and we're dealing with that. I'll keep you posted. That's what he texted me right before. I said, oh man, it doesn't end. I'm sorry you guys are going through this. You guys are such good people. If you want me to let anybody know that you've been hacked, I can help you guys out and let Josh know. And he says, I'm recording tonight's show, not going live, as I think some are waiting. I think some are waiting means like some are waiting to attack his channel again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys.
Isn't that ridiculous?
If
His
anyone
channel's
deserves
up.
if anyone deserves it's not Chris, it's you.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I'm going to make
Maybe somewhat me by like
an amalgamated answer for that. And he continues.
Well, I actually ended up. Are you gaining subs?
yeah, downwards. I mean, I lost only 4 more today. That's all.
This Evil Abe guy, I don't know if you've ever listened. His show he's pretty freaking funny, dude.
I'm gonna have to check him out.
He's very funny. I like him a lot.
Maybe he could subscribe to me and then unsubscribe from me, and I could watch his
Oh yeah, I'm sure he can help you lose.
I'm sure we can
use team pronouns here. It's our hour.
Are you on a bad streak still?
I'm just on a streak.
We got to
just call it a streak.
All right, dude. Tonight, maybe I'll dance for you to get your subs up. Just kidding.
I'll get back in those underwear if I have to.
Dude, you're gonna.
I really might just do the show from that underwear. First stupid sticker showdown.
Group and they and them all throughout the response here. So that's all I got. This is a fascinating clip.
Still alive.
You know, and the interesting thing for me is I actually said
What's
it
up,
two
Evil Abe
ways
is
because
funny.
I saw his face
Yeah,
when I said, "What
Go
do
check
you
him
say
out.
to?"
Somebody
And
dropped
he kinda
Evil
had a
Abe's.
look. And I said, "How do you respond?" And that's when he
He's good
seized on the
stuff,
question, is what I see now.
Mhm.
And when you're asking questions, you try to get through to a person with whatever you see. And I could tell he was a little confused by what I was asking in the very beginning. That was all. But yeah, it's a great catch, Scott.
I told you I'm gonna have to ask you some hard questions.
Yeah.
So what do you say to somebody who says, no, you're
Here's my hard question: did you shit in a bucket on a live?
involved, your family's involved? How do you respond to that?
Well, for 3 months, I spent on the phone for 3 months. I accepted every friend request there was. People want.
That's not true because he didn't accept mine.
Right? No. If you're a guy or a dude, and don't have a bag of dope, then I don't want your friendship request.
Dude,
Just send me a message or a 20 sack.
I went and looked on his Facebook this morning. Let me see if I can bring it up here. I'll show you this really fast. It's hilarious. It's not hilarious, but this is kind of shit that pisses me off about him because he's a freaking douche, a douche magoosh. There's Evil Abe. Yeah, go check out Evil Abe, man. He's funny. He's a good-hearted dude.
I told Chris, I said, dude, why don't you start the TIR live and just do live streams from that second channel and then post on your main channel so they can't attack you. You know what I mean? And then once the lives are done, you can move them over and put it on your main channel.
Yeah, I mean, it should be.
It should be safer that way, right? Like
I would think so because you can
I
just.
worry every time I go on because especially when you come up, I'm like, they're definitely going after me twice as hard now.
That totally makes sense.
I get struck right away. My video gets demonetized right as I start right when I go live.
Mhm.
Shit turns yellow. It's no good.
That makes sense. But do you get it like figured out?
It's just mass reporting. No, they just mass report your live stream even before it starts. You just click on the 3 dots, hit report, and report it under whatever you want. But what they don't know is that if they're doing this constantly under their main accounts, YouTube actually tracks it, and you can only do it so many times until it's harassment and bullying on your end, and they might actually delete your end for doing all these false flaggings. So I have been in contact with them. Evil Ape, I will check you out.
Evil Ape says, turning.
Did you say Eagle 8? WFLA, Eagle 8.
Oh, back to you. Eagle 8's in the sky. We don't want to show you dead bodies. We don't want to show you dead bodies, but we're gonna.
It's so screwed up that they have no stories and Eagle 8 is grounded.
Look, so this is shitheads. So Donnie Wells.
Click on one of his videos, bro. He's monetized now. There's commercials and everything playing.
No, this isn't his YouTube.
What is this?
This is his Facebook, right? And so he puts all these dumb like things up.
Are those the pictures of Jesus?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what this means, but
that means he's watching porn backwards.
but like this morning, I commented on one of these. Like, you check it out here. So he puts up this. I don't even know what the hell this is, right? And I comment. If you see down here,
wouldn't doubt if Benny Keys is running his freaking Facebook.
Is this a Summer Wells missing video? It should be.
Pootie Tang on the case.
Pootie Tang on the case. Ignore Donnie, not Summer.
Dick Dollar. What did you move it? Dick Dollar? It was Dick Dollar.
I don't know. Dick Dollar's just trolling. I like it.
What a good name.
Ignore Donnie, not
I have
Summer.
a dollar dick if anyone's interested.
Yeah, but anyway, I asked, I said, well, so is this a Summer Wells missing video? No, of course it's not. Why would it be? It's not. That's not why we're here, guys.
Your middle name is Griffin?
Huh?
What? Is that your middle name?
No,
Peter
I have
Griffin
2 last names.
Oh.
That's why me and the real,
you have the white last name and the Hispanic last name, just in case wherever you're at.
No, me and
you
the
got
real
Griffin and Diaz. Perfect.
Me and Griffin are brothers. That's why I was trying to get you guys to make No, just kidding. That's my adopted last name was Griffin. But my real last name is Diaz, so it's Griffin Diaz. You know, like Maurice Jones Drew. Or let's see, what other look, this is on his Facebook. What is this?
Why even? He's looking for Summer Wells.
Look, that's Candace.
Candace is gonna go up there and get a 20 sack from the drug dealers. We really have to travel nowadays. I've actually burned out everyone on Ban Hill. Right? Could you imagine Don burning out all of his connections?
That is a Canadian tuxedo.
That is that's gonna be, you know, when you're like plan on what you're gonna be buried in, like your finest clothes. Mine is gonna be those underwear, but like, and maybe a shirt that says
he's gonna have to
go Dodgers. But like Candace is gonna be wearing denim. Fucking cremator, right? She's like, just cremate.
He said, said, Jesus, he needs a belt.
She needs a belt. It looks like younger Don. It looks like Benjamin Button Don. Like,
sick, dude.
You know, the hunchback.
Smell the ass of those shorts. I dare you,
dude. The ass has never even been near the ass. That's more like the crotch area.
Well, and I don't know what this is.
I wonder if she's got those red shorts on underneath.
I'm sure she does.
She's wearing those as boxers.
What is this?
A light pole, or it's an electrical pole. And
what fine photography skills you have, Don.
Right. They have the phone up and down instead of panoramic view. I'm going to take a picture of a cactus and post it. Hold on, Candace. Do you have a Mountain Dew, by the way? Thirsty.
This is just ridiculous, man. Your kid's missing and they're taking photos.
Said, I'm trying to click on your comments like they're mine. Someone says,
I try and do that sometimes on yours.
Candace? I thought it was Dawn.
No, it's Candace.
Yeah, definitely. Mandis.
Oh, what a nice shithole of nothing there is. Right.
You know, the boys would really like it if we take a picture of this dirt track for them, their bikes. You know, let me show them what a real dirt bike looks like in a track, not a backyard.
Have you guys ever seen a drought? This is what we're having.
Look how green it isn't. Let's take some pictures at the golf course where it's green. We'll go over there.
You know, I'm gonna actually send this to the boys. They've never seen electricity poles before.
Have you never seen electric wires? Don, thank you for posting. I'm surprised you didn't make a 1-minute video of these stupid pictures on your YouTube channel. And that one too.
2 Timothy 3:1-3.
No, that's 2 Timothys he wants.
2 Timothy's, 3 Timothy's 4.
Between 3 and 4 years old. Don.
Don't be naive. There's a difficult times ahead, and as the end approaches, sorry, I don't read so good. People are going to be self-absorbed, money hungry, self-promoting, stuck up, profane, contemptuous.
What's up with all the minuses in between words?
Parents, crude, coerce, dog eat, dog, unbending, slandering, impulsive, wild, savage, cynical, treacherous.
This is not, this can't
Ruthless,
be
bloated windbags, added to lust and allergic to God. They will make a show of religion, but behind the scenes, they're animals. Stay clear of these people. That has to be the New King James, or that has to be the NIV version.
Listen, that's what he wants to be able to write like. He doesn't understand what punctuation is. And that's why I'm saying, like, what's the minus signs? And what's those comma thingies? Is that a colon? Or do I feel like an ass? You know, honestly, like, Don doesn't use punctuation. Don can't read punctuation, nor can he write, unless he's sitting on the toilet and Benny Keys is reading something else that Ozzy wrote.
We need the King James version.
Can you break it down in the layman's version? Do you have that one? Do you have like book on tape instead? Can you imagine Don just listening to the Bible? He can't read.
I like the King James version better.
It's easier to read and understand.
I don't think it is, but it makes more sense. This known also. Oh, dude, you know what? Old King James. That's what we need. Where's the old King James?
He's back a few years.
Authorized modern English. Here's what we need, dude.
The KJV version 2. Right? So much easier to say.
KJV.
Oh. KJV in the house. It's always next to you on your dresser.
Here we go. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false confessions. False accusers.
Yes.
Incontinent.
Mark, take it away, Mark. Get Mark in here to read this. Could you read it like Mark?
Despisers of those that are good, traitors, heavy, high-minded, lovers of pleasure, more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For this sort, as they which creep into house and lead captives, silly women laden with sin, led away with divers lust. It's ridiculous.
Lost. She's lost. Oh, that love or lust. It's blood flow and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Danielle.
My lips are fucked.
I'm screwed. They're going to think I'm a drug addict.
Oh.
Why does Joshua Dynamite look not as red as his lips, even at the bottom of his video? It's like,
dude, look at those bad boys.
What would that be called? Ruby red? My shade.
That would be called
Dog's
working for you, and for 3 months you stayed on the phone day and night trying to find the baby, because I figured Facebook's the best tool possible.
Look at his swallow pattern. Come on, this guy. They can't read this guy. Honestly,
on Facebook, combating this the whole time.
They have to, right?
Dude. I'm so disappointed in these fucking guys. If this is the
Let's
real
do this. Chase, put those glasses back on a minute. Let's all decide.
Uh-oh. 6 more weeks of winter's coming.
We're gonna have 2, 4, 6, 8 eyes.
8 more weeks, 6 more weeks of summer, winter, and fall. Power Rangers, power up.
Chase looks like.
Could you imagine if they all pulled off a mask and it was Brian Laundrie, Candace and Don, and somebody else?
We got 4 glasses. There's so many eyes up here. I feel like a fly.
We look like we're doing what are those math debates? They look like they're going like a debate team. Like
Good night.
they're all master debaters, cunning linguists with
Yeah.
Russian hands and Roman fingers.
Master debaters.
Master
It's like that
debaters.
little mouse.
Especially Mark.
It's a little mouse that wears glasses like that.
Oh,
Is it Stuart Little?
Stuart Little.
Stuart
Yeah.
Little.
Little. He said little.
Dude, the
Now-
funniest
now
thing
there's
is I
gonna
have
be
the
a
same exact
swarm
glasses.
of art
Like they're
coming in
the
from
same.
There will
panelists.
be. There will be.
I can't wait.
We wear the
Did
same
you rape
exact
your
glasses.
sister?
No,
Up in the air, Junior Birdman.
no.
Did you molest your first?
A swarm of art.
Master debaters, cunning
Art's
linguist.
coming.
Look, him and I wear the same exact glasses.
Looks like a circle jerk of glasses, and I'm the only one not in them.
You don't have glasses?
No, so it's like a non-circle because it goes from Mark to Scott to Greg to you and then back to Chase. So it's like I'm the only straight guy here.
Oh.
Back to you, Greg. Right?
Dude, seriously, like we literally have the same glasses.
Yeah, but you got way better hair even than Mark Bowden, and you got a way better smile. Well, you got way better hair than Greg Hartley. Way better smile than Chase. Mark Bowden looks like he just got done doing 2 guys, 1 cup. Doesn't he look like, oh my God, it tastes like shit. And then Scott Roos is just lying to us. His last name means a lie, which you know what a ruse is, right? A ruse.
Yeah.
That's what his last name is, Scott Roos.
Oh.
Ooh, he's a
Coming
liar.
in from
There
panelists.
will be. There will be.
I can't wait.
Did you rape your sister?
No.
It's unreal.
Look,
I was not
yeah,
ready.
you can't tell his blink pattern here, right?
Dude.
He's like, he doesn't even want to look at him. He's like, nah.
You can't just hit us with the R word like that, just straight off the bat. And he was like this.
Oh, I think. No. I knew what he was going to ask me. It was pre-programmed, No.
No.
I'll answer it truthfully for a line though, because you have it's
Did
already
you
20
rape
minutes
his-
in.
No.
Did you molest your first set of children?
No.
He didn't even finish the question.
I can give you.
He doesn't even finish the question about what he's asking, and Don's already answering.
He's never
That's a
done
telltale
anything
sign.
wrong. Duh.
Well, it's Candace's fault.
You're right. Don sucks. Don does suck. There's no doubt about it. Thank
I
you.
can give you my kids' number and we can talk when this is done.
And they're gonna lie to you just the same way that I lie to you.
You know what was weird is that Ziggy thought I had to go over there. I super chatted her last night. I think you were in there. I
Yeah,
said
probably.
I come in peace. I was like, everyone thought like Josh will be Josh is good. He can come up, but Doug,
They
if
were
it
gonna
was
let
Doug,
you up.
Doug is gonna talk some shit.
Well, yeah, they were gonna
say
let
that.
you up though.
I was not gonna talk shit. I have nothing bad to say about any of those people. I don't even know them.
I told him I said yeah, I don't know, maybe he will. That'd be great though. Pray.
Yeah, it'd make great for TV, right?
Well,
Great
we were
for
gonna-
losing more subs on my channel. That'd be great for Doug. Let's have him up. Thanks, Josh.
No,
You
dude,
really helped me at the time of need, pal.
go sub to Doug's channel.
Oh,
so,
by the way, my backup channel is growing, you guys. Thank you guys, and I'm gonna start posting more on it. and
you
we're
need
gonna
to
be
start
doing some
streaming
cool
on
stuff.
it.
Yeah, we will. It's got over 3,000 subs now. Thank you guys. And our No Pants News channel, Josh, like I told you, that's half yours now if you want it. That's got over 600 subs, and I've only made like 2 videos, and I haven't been posting on that. So I think for maybe
Okay, nobody can hear you, Doug. It's my show. So and we're
and I'm unmuting myself.
how'd you do that?
Stop it, you dick.
How do you keep unmuting yourself?
Mute me one more time, Dick. See what happens. I'll start muting you. You want to see me reverse screw with you?
How can you mute me?
I can't mute you. Actually, I just did a Benny. I just told you I could do something that I can't.
Let me edit your mic settings.
Let me
All the way.
I'll just mute myself. No,
What's that?
stop it. I would like to give you that channel and get going on that fun stuff because I'm just going to throw myself out. Back to you, Chase.
Anyway, so go subscribe to Doug's backup channel. And
No. That's not my point. I was saying that
that's
we need to get on the whole No Pants News things, and we can have some fun with some worldwide news that we're going to make susceptible and fun. We're going to do a lot of Canadian stuff because
that's fun.
it's fun. You guys are all here from Canada, so no. But seriously, Josh,
And Australia.
Back to you, Chase.
Oh,
And we'll talk to him. Sure. Did you threaten to kill him? No.
yes.
Yeah, I'm going to incriminate myself again? I don't think so.
Did you?
I'll just
threaten
admit
kill-
to all the essays later.
Did you threaten to kill him? Yes.
Oh, with what? The gun I have that I'm not supposed to? No.
What's Mark doing down here?
Stuart, you want to go first?
We're seeing this eye closure, which guarantee you, if
He looks
if,
like he's racking
if you
lines.
just
Mark
aired
does.
this without our analysis, we'd see 1,000 comments of like, "Oh, there's rapid blinking. He's lying." We're looking at clusters to determine deception. We're looking at multiple things to determine deception. And we've also determined that this blinking is part of his baseline. He's processing data on every single question here. Each denial is rapid. His answer is rapid. He tends to have a lot of latency, which is a time between the end of a question and the beginning, when there is hesitation and when there's doubt and when there's like, I need some time to make something up, or I need some time to think through my answer. This eye closure is not enough to say that he's being deceptive. And the only movement here.
Well, he doesn't. You just have to go back and watch one of his interviews when he talked about how he diddled his sister.
Or what about
he admits it.
Where Candace is crying and Donnie's in the background and he's supposed to be in jail on that whole fake phone call? Like, come on, these guys not see any of that shit.
That's my question. They're trying to get their
how
own baseline. Get your own baseline from all the other videos.
Well, he's already admitted to the essays that he's the one who told on himself, right? So, and he told on himself to Chris. Now, if he's going to sit here and turn around and lie about it, how are they not sensing deception in any of this? You know what I mean? Like, that just questions their abilities to me. Like, they see dead people like that lady we had on. Who did we have on last night that was totally
Dude, last night was crazy.
Who was the psycho or the psychic?
No, you said it right.
I mean, who was the psycho that was on my panel?
It was something about her opinions. Sherry's opinions.
Yeah, I know. I got to demod her.
Why?
I don't. She seems like she
was funny. And by the way, I hated the end of Squid Game, so she was completely wrong. I felt bad for
I don't even know what Squid Games are. I thought you were talking about fishing. I have no.
It's just a show on Netflix that the ending sucked, and like people, I just thought that.
Josh, I don't have Netflix, nor do I pay $26 for all day parking. So
I understand. Then she said that like I have a grandmother who passed away. That means everything to me, and that's not true either. I have a grandmother that did pass away, and I love her.
The job, you're looking to get a new job, and the job market's low, and you're not happy with your pay. You're miserable in your marriage. Like, you could hit on anything like that and be right.
Does a cat have an ass?
I asked her for the lottery numbers, and she did not give them to me.
And
she didn't know. She didn't even know. She didn't even see that coming.
I did. I did lie to make her feel better. I really.
I tried to make her feel good.
It's hard. That was really
when you come up and you start telling someone this is what happened, and then all of a sudden it's I think this is what happened. I just can't go with it.
I did lie and say that I said, but I lied because
to make her feel better.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that on my show? Well, you don't lie to anybody on my show to make them feel better. Make them feel better on your show. That way, when they find out it's a lie, they don't hate me for it.
Well, first and foremost, I would never let a psychic.
Sherry, this was all Josh's idea anyway. So if you're
I
out
would
there,
never ever let a psychic on my show. I let psychos on my show.
I didn't know. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know she was a psychic before, and I got hairy legs. I didn't even know that she was even a psychic before she came on my show, let alone her channel. She kept saying she's got a channel, and that's a great way to promote. It's a good way to promote, right? When you got a bunch of people watching. I got a channel. I got hairy legs.
I did lie though and say I was trying to make her feel better. I don't know, dude. She missed every single one. My lucky
like what? Give me a yes no answer. You have 50-50 and she still screwed it up. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you have A, B, C, and D.
I like how she would say, "Oh, you're 35 years old. You must have a grandma that's dead that you love more than anything in the world." And then
she left you everything that you have.
Well, my grandma who raised me, but she was nice, dude.
Dude, I'm glad she didn't ask me because my grandma used to say kids are to be seen and not heard. So like if she would have said that, I loved her no matter than what.
She was actually really nice. She was.
It wasn't until my grandma was going through hospice and the last like month of her life that her and I actually connected. and we got to fix a lot of stuff that happened in our past, which was great, you know, because I kind of try to do that shit. You know, I try
Dude,
to,
when she started swinging that pendulum, I got nervous.
I was, God, you know what? Rather than swinging a pendulum, you got Danielle coming up in a car and then in a house, you know, doing her best.
A car is not a house, but it is to you. I guess.
You know, it's a cell phone.
Magic 8 Ball. It
and a
was. The
hurricane
Magic 8
is
Ball.
you know, a
Here,
hurricane.
let's ask this. Let's ask this. Will Sherry's opinions hate me and Doug forever after this?
And will she have a channel? So she can't strike us.
Strike us. You can't even get.
Why are you shaking it more? Why are you getting the answer you want right now?
Well, it's like broke.
That's a great time to ask it a question when it's broken.
Okay, hold on. Here it is.
Will this thing work again?
It said, you know what this
Not
said?
likely.
Better not tell you now.
It says not likely every time, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's only got
here we go.
8
Here we
sides,
go. Dude, reply hazy, try again. What is going on?
That
Will
means you
Sherry hate
shouldn't
us?
smoke pot before you ask the question. That was my bad.
Does Sherry hate Doug and I?
Let's just go with Sherry hate Josh. Mark Bowden would be like this.
As I see it, yes. Sorry, Sherry. You were wrong, bro. Sorry.
You were wrong twice.
Hesitation
3
is
times.
just
I'm very
3
generous.
times a psychic. Once, twice. Mark, you're back to you, Mark.
final denial that he makes. On the very final denial, the small retreating motion of the head and some eye closure there. And neither of these.
That 8 ball would be much more accurate if it was powder.
I'm going to give you an 8. So
I got
this
the 8 ball.
is an excellent masterclass.
Don sent me this after my Facebook comment.
We're talking about when we say clusters. It's like here's a deceptive behavior. Here's a deceptive
Josh,
behavior.
can I stop you for a second?
It doesn't mean
how
does
that work? If someone
have to-
wants to scan your PayPal in the right corner, is that how they pay you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
You guys scan that. And if Linda could put up one of my scan things, I'd appreciate it. Make that work, Josh. Can you put one of my scanner things up there? Right next to
you
yours?
might see it's something that this person does habitually all the time, no matter what they're talking about. So that's when we say baseline is important, and probably secondary to baseline is looking at clusters. Scott, what do you got?
All right, I'm gonna say those first 3.
Isn't baselining drug use? That's
the
what
last
Don
one?
knows about.
So different than those first 3 questions. Did you threaten to kill him?
Yes.
No. All the classics.
Yeah.
Backs up. Says as he says no, it goes quieter.
I'm gonna have to contact Bertolino, see if I can talk about it.
Turtolino.
You see where that goes in the middle. Man, that's when I wanted. There's no reason to lay into that because it doesn't go with what we're dealing with at that point. So I laid off it. But that's the one that made me get big. I wanted to go.
Kids will tell you that didn't happen. And so there, I'll leave it at that.
Did you rape your sister?
No,
Did you rape your niece?
no,
Did you molest your first set of children?
no.
His lips are lying.
I can give you my kids' number and we can talk when this is done.
Sure.
And we'll talk.
Hey,
I have a character reference you can call. Yeah,
It's like this.
or to get him together for court.
It goes like this, dude. This is basically the phone call. Hey guys, I'm here with the behavioral panel on YouTube. Will you tell them that I didn't touch you in the diddles at all? Please. Dad, why are you calling us? You haven't talked to us in 5 years. Tell them now. I'll give them your number. Tell them now. Answer my phone.
This is Dad. Remember, Daddy Don. Listen, I gotta tell you guys something. Do me a big favor. Could you lie about the diddling and just tell them I was a good father and that you know who I am? Thank you. I'll fix your drywall for free for the rest of your life.
Did you see the part early when he was talking about when he was talking about, he's like, you see, like that, like it took him like 2 hours. It should take him.
Yeah, he's like, I got him some new mud. He said it was dirty and it took him longer than it should have. And I was like, what's your problem?
It's like no one gives a shit.
Then I threw a beer bottle at him.
Up.
Like,
He's an idiot.
well, listen.
All right, there we go.
A professional drywaller knows exactly how long it takes to stitch a 12 by 15 room. You know what I mean? And 25 minutes is unacceptable. Whoever did it in 25 instead of 20. Don't do it right. Check once, not check twice, and cut once. Screw it.
Oh, no. I wish
You
I
have
did.
any earthly idea what happened to her?
No.
Oh yeah, real believable. No,
Look, can you not tell that he's lying just the way he's sitting?
of course you can.
I mean, look at him. Look at those. I mean, the lies lie within that lips.
Lie, lick, lops, lick, lop, lops, lick. Lops.
He licked Steven
I'd say,
Turtolino's apple face. That's what happened. He ate Steven Turtolino.
Lollipop liquor.
Lollipop. What was the one
Lollipop
that
liquor.
was a good one that you like? It was the end of the show. You captured it. Did you get that? It was the very end. What did I say? It was a good one.
I know it was at the
Classic.
I haven't got him yet, but I will.
Yeah, no, that was classic. Okay, moving on. My bad.
Moving on.
I wish I did.
Back to you, Chase.
Candace had anything to do with it?
No.
And what about this? And you think what might have happened to her was what?
She was kidnapped.
Yeah. All right, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, very simple. She was kidnapped. Seems very assured.
Shut up, Mark.
Yeah, she was kidnapped. Seems very assured. Back to you, Greg.
Yeah, I believe him. Back to you, Scott, Greg, and Chase.
On that, the eye contact that he has on that, really, really assured. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I've got a question about it. Any earthly idea what happened to him, to her? And then we get this eye flutter on that, and I don't know what that might be about. So I'm kind of interested what you know ideas on that. Chase, what do you think? Any
Oh, Chase is on the case. What are you back to you, fucker?
Hold on, Chase. What do you think? Okay, tell me, Chase. And Chase is like, just because you finger me doesn't mean I'm going to come. Just tell me, Chase.
just after any earthly idea what happened?
No, I think he's processing data. I think an eye flutter wouldn't mean very much. Did you want me to go as well?
Yeah. I'm done. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
assured for me. That's the only question I have in that one. Yeah.
Okay, so his eye closure
God.
here, if we're just going to stick on that, is different in the question about Candace. In every other question throughout the entire video, even though the clips that we're not looking at here with you, his eyes flutter. When talking about Candace, they shut. They are shut down.
That's because she's usually
And
sleeping when he talks to
Each
her.
of his denials contain multi-syllables. There are high frequency tones. There's low frequency tones. So
High
there's tonal
frequencies.
fluctuation in his voice. And when it comes time to talk about Candace, Scott asked him about Candace, and you gave him time to talk. You didn't just let him say one thing. There's a huge window of time for him to talk. So there's no frequency, no highs and lows, one syllable, one word answer. And it's a downward tone, which is the opposite of him talking about being kidnapped. And this stands out as being so different that this is a huge red flag. His eyebrows move and communicate in every single denial except for the one about Candace. His head shake slowed down and was more deliberate when it came down to talking or denying when he's speaking about Candace. And his no turned into a nah more when he was making that denial about Candace. And he nods his head yes while saying that she was kidnapped, which goes with his baseline behavior in that he believes it and that he agrees with that statement. So I will say I'll just say I would suggest that there is a very high likelihood for deception around the question that Scott, you specifically asked about Candace. I'll let you talk about that.
That's pretty good.
Mark's stance. Mark's in a stance.
My concern with
Well, that was pretty accurate, actually. I thought what he just said. He basically said that he's like lying.
with this at first was when I said, "Do you know what happened to her?" And he said, "No, I wish I did." Now, a lot of times you'll hear parents say, "I wish I did." After that, "No, I wish I did." That's fairly common if you go through these people that are asked that question. But when we got to the end, I said, what is it you think that happened to her? And I was saying these things not like, so what do you think happened to her? It was, they're very wide as I'm asking him. So he has to take them in word at a time and almost guess what I'm going to say next so we can get that reaction once it dawns on him.
The whole reaction once it
That's
dawns
what
on him.
bothered me when he said she was kidnapped. Greg has a great take on that specific.
Get the pitchforks and shove it up his ass. That's my.
Could you imagine? Be like, the exits are 2 to the front, 2 to the side, and 2 to the back.
2 to the front, 2 to the side, 2 to the back. Let me see
Back
that
to you,
Tootsie
Chase.
Roll. That Tootsie Roll. Tootsie Roll.
But we find, I
Touchy
think later
mops.
on
He killed my Tootsie Roll.
we get into a
about touchy
situation
mops?
where
Lick, lick, lops, lick, lick, pops.
as he goes through, we still aren't confident that he
That
believes.
It was coming.
And from my perception
Lick,
of what's
lick,
going
pops.
on, I'm not so sure he believes what she's saying, because what Chase, what you're saying, you covered everything on that. So yeah, the
Chase
eye-
is really on the
eye
case.
things have- and her eye blocking at that point plays a huge part in that.
The
Huge
show
part.
was going to be named Phil and Chase, but they
Greg?
went with Dr. Phil.
What we got?
Yeah, there's a difference in Chase. You're on to exactly what I was hearing. Everything else, there's the no. Just if you just listen, it's a grunt almost when
Probably.
he comes out about Candace. And
You
I
can
had
take
the
your
same
mask off,
suspicions.
Dova.
And the last one, I'm going to leave everything else off and just
You're
talk.
safe here on YouTube. You can take your mask off.
Kidnapped is the first time we hear this
YouTube's
word.
had the
Used the
Johnson
word
and Johnson.
abducted before.
Yeah.
Kidnapped
The J and the
is
J.
not the same as abducted. Kidnapped usually
Dude,
comes
the
along with
funniest
it.
thing I heard somebody said was that they said that you go, oh, he's like, man, when I went to get my vaccine, he says he said when I went the first time I got the Pfizer, and then the second time they accidentally gave me the Moderna, and somebody's like, that's that Arnold Palmer.
Could I get what's that one where it's like cherry soda and like Sprite together? A Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
Just give me the Shirley Temple. I'll take one in each arm.
Can I get the Pfizer Johnson, please?
It's for the person.
Listen, who's
All
the
you
one who starts
too
the
much
fluffing
TV.
before we get the shot?
Now, could it be that it's a subtlety wasted on Don? Could be. But when I heard that word, my brain went ding, 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 because, I'm a hammer and nails are there. And I worked, anti-terror through my life. Kidnapping means something. There's a reason. It's political. It's economic. He has nothing political to offer. So what in his head does he think kidnapping means? And then along with that Candace thing, it just raised all of my red flags. Now, does that mean that he intentionally did that? Don't know. Did he say kidnapping versus abduction? He said in other places. Don't know. Does he know the difference?
Yeah,
Don't know.
I
He
actually
didn't get to
I
that
know
level.
that you can mix them.
Not with drugs.
This
You're not
was
supposed to intravenously use while getting a shot.
this was very early on when they weren't mixing the frothies together.
Frothies. Isn't that a fun word to say? Like moist. Frothy, moist.
Frothy and moist.
Once. The last,
Yeah, dude. I've been trying to get him to see if I can get the Pfizer, the Johnson and Johnson,
The
and
Pfizer.
The
Is that the Piffiter? The Piffiter one?
yeah, the Piffiter and the.
last thing I'll leave you with is
I keep talking about this vaccine; they'll take me down.
when you're
Dollar
talking
Gang
about
says Donnie's just a pussy. He's a career criminal and thinks he's smarter than lawmen, and he likes semen. He's managed to get away with everything because he lives out in the middle of nowhere. His weakness is attention and drugs and 17-year-old Ukrainian males. And 17-year-old Ukrainian she-men.
Moving on.
someone you have a very tightly bonded
17-year-old.
relationship
Sorry.
together for a long time, your tone may be different when you're talking about them. If I ask Scott about Amber, his tone will be different than if I ask him about Chase, for example, because
I don't know
going to
about
be
that.
different. You never know. I don't know about your.
Oh man,
Mark.
this is comedy gold.
You guys' relationship
and I are
outside
very-
of work.
We're very close. Chase and I are very close.
Oh,
Yeah, no, you sit close.
Do you know where
shits
some-
and disposition.
I wish
Do you
I
have
did.
any earthly idea what happened to her?
No.
That reminds me of The Office when Phyllis was saying, "Me and Stanley are very close." He goes, "We sit close."
I wish I did.
Do you think Candace had anything to do with it?
No.
No, she didn't because
I'm already answering that before you asked me. Nah.
I did it
Here's
all.
the deal. Here's the deal. She got Don out of jail for some reason, got him out of trouble in the past, right? We saw how she was sitting next to him in court. They were sitting apart. They don't like each other. They really don't. In church, they don't sit next to each other. The kids all sit between them, right? They're not close couple. What we're seeing right now is them covering for each other somehow, along with Grandis that knows something more. Just like her sister disappeared without a trace and still to this day has not been found. They know what to do to get someone gone, apparently. And I'm not saying they did this, but they know either who did this or how it happened.
What about this? And you think what might have happened to her was what?
She was kidnapped.
Yeah. Right. Great. All right. Now let's run around the room really quickly, and we'll all give.
He can do that. He's all speeded up.
Can we keep things a little bit narrower and not widen it out into this extraordinary soap opera with stepsisters and all kinds of and
soap opera? Those are called facts.
And all these people involved,
right?
Not
like it's a story
down, because I think that's where we're going to find the real issues here. When I look through the whole of the interview, I do get interested by how unsecure that area is, and all the people who come up with for all kinds of reasons looking for her. That's where my nose would be going right now.
Your nose would be going towards the straw.
Not so much on Don. It could be wrong. Chase, your thoughts?
This video really illustrates the importance of understanding microcultures and cultural differences in people. This is the reason that we baseline human beings. And when we hear these phrases like got gone,
I do like Chase
like that.
He's good.
I didn't know until very recently that that's common along that entire part of the country. It's a super common phrase. My mistake. I'm open to admit all that stuff because that's part of what we're understanding when we're talking to somebody that's in a
Okay, but even if it is Chase, that's like when somebody just takes off. I don't think it's a common thing to say about your daughter that went missing. That's not a super common thing to say about when somebody goes missing, when your 5-year-old daughter goes missing. I disagree with you, Chase Hughes, on that.
Hugely Hughes.
I'm not saying that got gone isn't a saying in the South. It's not a saying in the South that you say about a child that went missing. You don't say that. You just don't. I don't know. Like I'm wondering. You don't excuse. You weren't wrong. You were right. So stick with it.
A microculture. We're also talking.
And I've never heard anybody ever say that about a missing child from that part of the country. And kids go missing a lot over that way. Well, not in Hawkins County, according to Ronnie Lawson.
Talking to a person with a checkered past that everyone will use to paint the future. I'm going to dip my finger in this past. I'm going to start to just paint the future. I'm going to be very certain about what's going on. I think that, in my opinion, that Don Wells is mostly honest. And I think
Jesus Christ, Chase, just when I liked you,
that there is a tremendous amount of doubt or uncertainty that at a minimum.
Mostly honest. Well, then you must not know the Don Wells that we know.
With Candace's story or her level of involvement or her knowledge of what actually took place. And maybe there's some knowledge there. I think I went over 30 seconds. I apologize. Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, this is one of those great opportunities for you to take away your bias. I'm going to tell you, when I went there, the guy has a background. We know he has a background. He may even still be doing some things that you may or may not agree with. I'm not talking to any of that. I went there with one purpose in mind. I wanted to know what he knew about Summer Wells, what this whole thing is about.
Yeah, you got a whole lot out of him, didn't you, Greg?
And whether he was involved in the disappearance of Summer Wells. I'll tell you, based on his baseline, which we went through a lot of process to discover, pushing him into corner with some simple questions that he had no reason to lie about that caused stress, and looking for that stress level to rise. And then finally going right to the point and hammering and seeing him emotional about
and
this
hitting
kid
him in
the
his
day before.
balls.
Don emotional is like him not having any dope left.
Yeah.
That's Don emotional.
He's involved
Ridiculous.
in her disappearance. Could I be wrong? Sure. But based on everything I saw face to face, based on everything I felt and saw and learned and thought and listened by watching and listening to his baseline and looking for deviation at the key moments, I don't think he's involved.
Good
This is hard. This is
job,
hard.
people.
This is heartbreaking.
Yeah, because they have no facts behind what they're interrogating. Like if you see what they're doing, usually cops already know what they're interrogating about and what point they're trying to get to. But these guys are bypassing what's important and going with what he says as a no, as acceptable, when they know for a fact Don has done all those bad things.
It's so unbelievable, man.
Scott, what do you got?
I agree with you, Greg. I
Great.
don't think he is either. Having been there with him, I agree 100% with you. I don't think he was involved at all. He didn't.
I can't wait till they find out or when they figure out and prove that he's involved, and they can shove this up your guys' fucking ass for your promos.
Answer the questions correctly.
Fucking
to
Make
be
a
bullshit.
teaser on that one.
as far as that goes. But
This is
I agree with you
fucking
guys. This is a
bullshit.
perfect example of
That's $5 in my cuss jar. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm down to 168 of my own dollars now.
it's a great example of being able to not only watch somebody be questioned and interviewed, but be able to get the other side of the people who are interviewing it, give you their side of it as well. Why we ask questions this way, why our approach was a certain way, why we were quiet here, why we get a little
I
bit
think
louder
your approach
on the
sucked.
parts, which
I think your
we're gonna do.
question
We're gonna
sucked.
do a next part
Scott,
two
I
of
think
this,
the
guys.
show sucked.
I'm for it.
Sure.
We still got
Sure.
plenty to
Yeah.
do.
A part two. So what are we going to say? What are we going to do on part two?
People want
We
some
should
more.
keep bringing it up until
Defend
we find
Candace,
someone.
Well, look,
right?
Chase just said something great. I got to admit. Listen to this.
Ask questions this way, why our approach was a certain way, why we were quiet here, why we get a little bit louder in other parts, which I think we're going to do. Are we going to do a next part two of this, you guys?
I'm for it.
Sure.
We still got
Sure.
plenty to
Yeah.
do.
People want
We
some
should
more.
keep
Shut up,
bringing
Mark.
it up until we find Summer.
100%. I like
Yeah,
that.
you guys aren't going to find
Okay.
Summer at all.
Yeah, because they're going to find out
Well, at least it puts her name out there.
Yeah, but they're not going to find her.
But these guys, but they're wrong.
what happened. And I agree with Greg. I don't think he had anything to do with it.
Well, Mark has
let's
all
see
the
if he-
Harvard
I don't
University
think- I don't
crowd, so we
think
should
he
be okay.
believes Candace or her story on that, whatever it is, I guess from the TV interviews. So I think it's a great example.
Dova says Don has a pretty mouth for prison.
Not really.
You'll see someone be
He's going to
interviewed
make
and
Bubba
also
very
get
happy. Those
the
DSLs.
the input from people who interviewed that person and why they did it, and give you an insight as to what we're thinking is to get those questions asked and to elicit those answers from them.
Do we know if Candace actually did walk away from this, Josh? Or is
I
that,
don't
is
know.
that
I
a
can't-
story?
I can't-
I haven't got an actual, and somebody brought it up in the chat, and that's why I'm asking. I don't have an actual confirmation that Candace did walk off this besides what we were all told. But I don't think she'd get away with walking off Dr. Phil and getting.
That's
free-
what Jenna on Iggy's.
I know. I heard that too, bro. And
So,
like,
but
I'm
I don't. I can't confirm.
We're doing, please subscribe. All I
call
gotta do
Mike
is
King and ask
hit the red thing down there and then hit the bell so it lets you know when we have a new one come out.
We
I
need a
just wanna
cuss
say
barrel.
a quick thanks to Dr. Phil and the entire Paramount team here. I'm in LA. I'm staying in a really nice hotel with really crappy Wi-Fi. I texted
What is your
Phil last
what
night,
hotel and what's the room
and
number,
he
Chase?
had all of this stuff set up. The producers are in here and let me kind of just borrow his little filming area. So I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Phil and the entire team here for letting me come crash the studio.
So he's not on the team. He's actually a part
Can I add one thing,
of the show,
guys?
I guess. for
Everybody
Don.
listening, you, Summer Wells, post that photo, get her picture. I mean, we know it's in a lot
Hey,
of
do you know where the behavior panel's out of, Josh? Is some of them out of California? Do you know? Because this could have very well been right before the taping, right before, like a precursor to the taping for Dr.
Jupiter,
Phil.
Mars, somewhere around there.
I wonder if this was like a setup for Don to see if he answers those questions
What's
wrong.
up, Giggles a lot? Oh,
Hey,
welcome.
Giggles.
Welcome to the very end of the show.
she's missing still.
Catch the replay
Watch
and
Candace.
watch on all.
Yeah. Also,
Watch
Greg
all
and I got
three
our
rounds.
From
shots.
halfway when I come on.
This is right over there. A couple of days ago.
Do you think they're working? Do you think those
You know,
questions they asked are from Dr. Phil? Some of them. So when he asks certain semantic questions, that possibly this could see if we could drag different answers out of Don, or do you think some of these questions were like pre-written and gotten from Chase and sent over to Greg and Scott when they did the interview? Like, Because they already knew they were going on Dr. Phil.
Well, let me tell you this. I think what I don't know where these questions come from, but what I do think is that they're trying to err on the side of caution, where they say, well, I think he didn't have anything to do with it. It's like predicting rain. Oh, tomorrow's gonna be a 25% chance of rain. Well, but if it doesn't rain, okay, that's good, because there was
Why
a
won't you give us
75%
a 75% chance it won't rain?
So
you know what I mean?
It won't, but it did rain, and it rained a lot, but there was still 25% chance. That's what they're doing.
They're always wrong when they do.
He was getting like, yeah, we'll do food.
Hey, it's going to be raining tomorrow, but if you live inside, it's just going to be dry like every other day. Back to you.
My lizard has cancer. It's raining in my world. Back to you, Chase.
Another thing I never understood is, the feels like when they talk about like, oh, the wind chills. It's 45 degrees outside, but the wind chill's 32. So then it's 32.
He's a doctor.
That's right. He is a doctor. So
Scott cried. It's not a wind chill. It's snowing.
So it doesn't matter.
So it's cold as balls.
Mark, look at Mark. Classic stoppage. He looks like every man's dream right there. JB can do a single shot.
Yeah, his single shot, dude.
JB in a single shot.
Jesus.
My reaction to it.
WFLA.
It's not true.
Yeah, imagine going to lunch with those guys. Be a real hoot.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being with us. And this is good.
Yeah, can I get one of those small forks for my salad, please? Is that the right one?
Harvard, here's what
Which fork do I fucking use, Mark? Damn it. I've got too much silverware here.
You can't cuss on my show.
I didn't. You did. Another $1.
Another $1. Doug, you got a show tonight? What time?
We got a show tonight. We're going to do a stupid sticker showdown. I think
we have
between
one.
6 and 6:30 p.m. 6:30 p.m. How's that for you?
That 6:30, 6:45 should work.
6:40. So you're telling me 6:45 works better?
I can come on after. It's fine.
Let's do 6:42 p.m. Pacific time.
6:42.
We'll do 6:45. You guys join me on my channel. Come over and super chat Josh all you want.
Yeah.
On my channel. You go ahead and super sticker me for Josh on my channel and come over and do his PayPal, my PayPal, and your PayPal. Pay yourself.
All PayPals.
Everybody
are you
pay
having
themselves.
Your girl? Are you having your girl back on tonight?
Who, Sherry?
Yeah, Sherry.
I don't know. She probably already knows that I said no.
Dude, what's dude? I didn't see Arkansas.
I didn't. Way to mend things up.
You and Sauce?
Yeah, I was like, where were my 99-cent super chats last night? She's like, I was sleeping. I was like,
was she?
Yeah, she was sleeping. I said I gave you the link to come up.
I think she saw you flirting with somebody. That's not cool.
Flirting? I don't flirt with anybody, dude.
No, you only go like this.
I'm just doing what everybody else is thinking. It's not even that I'm doing it. She's got a boyfriend.
Who?
You. No wonder why you can't date anybody, dude. Thank you for sending your wife up on my show.
Oh, does she really have a boyfriend?
I don't know. I didn't even ask her about her life like that. Matter of fact, she called me on Facebook after, and I said, "What was the question?" She didn't ask me, and then it was just that, and it was done.
The funny thing is, it's like
it's all fun and games and stuff when we're all like there. I am looking for love, though, you guys. Not to be an asshole. Like I'm not looking just to hit it and quit it, or like you
never admit it.
That's basically what I'm saying. Is that if you tell, that I'm in trouble. So I have to be cautious.
Yeah, I mean? but
I can only send D pics to so many people. You know what I mean? Without getting flagged. That was another one. Remember when you were on my show and you're like, you've never received any naked pictures or anything like that? And I said, no. That was turned around like I was asking people. Some other channel put it out like I was starting to ask people for this.
Oh, wait.
I started laughing.
Wait, he's live.
Who is?
Don.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Share the screen.
Hold on.
Is he really live?
This is on his Facebook.
Look at all those cool lines. And it says live right now?
I don't know if it's live.
4 minutes ago or something.
4 minutes ago.
So that means they're on their way back to Tennessee.
Oh yeah, we're going back to our mansion.
Man, we got to get back to Ben Hill so we can get some dope.
Has he never been on a plane before? Like, what's the point of this?
He's trying to get to the Mile High Club. Can you imagine? Anybody under 18 that like to go to the Mile High Club, give me
He
a
really
call.
thinks he's a celebrity. He's posting his landings.
Wait till he gets his luggage.
Where's Candace?
She's on the other wing.
Oh, is this the takeoff or the landing?
Don's in first class. She's in coach.
This looks like the takeoff.
No, they just said something about
You know,
like
I
landing.
could really spackle the shit out of that wing.
I wonder if I could do a duplicate airplane, maybe just make it out of spackle. You think it'll be lighter?
No, read the post. I don't want to read the post.
Oh, God, what does the post say?
It's a landing. I got you. Who gives a shit? I don't care. I don't care.
You're wrong, Josh. He's not taking off. It's a landing.
He's not.
How dare you?
Read the caption, mother freaker.
Guys, don't read directions or notes, just so you guys know.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll catch you later. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on.
Probably
Doug.
just end it right now.
Definitely.
See you guys at 6:45 Pacific time, since that works for Josh.
Maybe
on my
6:50.
channel.
I don't know.
6:50.
6:52.
Yeah, maybe 17:30. We'll see you there.
How about we'll do it in the month of Nevuary?
Never worry. Okay, cool. The